If I told you the things I've seen on my ways, if I told you the things I've done in my days, you wouldn't believe me anyway. So it's best I just don't say. I've lived 1,000 lives, I piloted 1,000 souls, I killed and fought and died just for a single role.
Why, hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Welcome to session 6 of Exodus in Mongoose Traveler 2nd Edition. I'm Stu, I'm your GM, or referee in Traveler.
Ooh, fancy.
Yeah.
I
I'm
feel
still
like we
waiting for
have
the
it.
black and white shirt.
I should,
Where is it? Where is it, Stu?
I don't know.
Also, we don't have a ball thing to bat around for you to referee.
Right.
Sports ball?
A sports ball thing?
Shitty hoops?
It's
Pucky
so funny
hoops,
when you pretend to
batty
not
hoops?
know sports, because I know you know sports. It's adorable. It's just like,
Well, I mean,
because
we
you
didn't
busted
pick a
out a whole
sport.
bunch of sports references the other day. I was like, wow, go Pooja.
I'm Kimi, and today I am playing Riley O'Connor, and I am an ex-military, now truther who believes in the power of my alien artifact.
And now has followers.
And I have followers now. It's very exciting.
Yes, on 70 OPUG at a
Yeah.
university.
Yeah. And you just know they're drinking and spreading the word.
Of course,
Right.
because college kids are that reliable.
Well,
About
we
spreading?
definitely know that
Yeah.
they're drinking.
Yes.
I should have put it in meme form. God damn it.
You need to
Then
make
they would spread it for everywhere.
you need to make chick tracks.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh,
you send it. You put it in meme form and then send it to their parents, and then it'll be everywhere.
There it is. Hi guys, I'm Joey. I'm playing Milo Hawkins, ex-diplomat, who is desperately trying to keep the ship from outer chaos, especially since Kimi decided to put her ancient device near the nano weapons and may have activated them in some weird way, which she hasn't told anybody else about yet.
No, it's fine.
That's
It's
going to be
fine.
fine. I'm not
It's
worried
fine.
about it at all.
Totally fine.
We're all fine.
It'll be great. It'll be great.
I'm Vesa, Simola. He's Finnish. He's ex-Marine, ex-Scout, ex-Civilian, ex-Parrot, ex-Pat, ex-Man. He failed out a lot of things. Shocked, I know, I'm sure.
Hi, I'm Pooja. I'm playing Shari Melnyk. She is an ex-intelligence agent who didn't fail out of a lot of things.
No.
She just found out. She just found out things she wasn't supposed to know because she was too good at her job.
Are ex-spooks really ever ex? They're just way off the grid at that point, right?
At that point, I'm just hiding from the people who used to employ me.
See?
Yeah.
There you go.
All right. Well, we had a game a couple weeks ago, and I have my summary of it. Would someone like to summarize what happened last time?
Nope.
Well, let's see here. We after successfully staging a faked coup and destroying the arena, we started to sort of pick up the pieces. We were trying to figure out what to do next, and word came down that the lead guitar player, Boiling Hydrogen, was very, very ill. So we thought, well, that doesn't seem right. Coincidence? I think not. So we went to go find out what was going on, and the ship was quarantined. And I, being the doubter I am, like, well, this is all a big ruse. There's something going on. Maybe they're being held hostage. We need to get in there. Well, one thing led to another, and no, he actually got sick and died. And when we finally found out what had happened, it turns out he had gotten infected with some sort of nanotech, which had liquefied him from the inside out. And through some sort of amazing machinations or whatever, after talking to doctors and stuff planetside and talking to the manager, we managed to get a hold of the body, put it on our ship, and are
That is exactly
speeding back towards the Exodus Foundation as fast as our Type 2 jump drive can carry us.
Right.
We'll just take this for the good of all. Bye.
We basically had to smuggle it off the ship with I think there was a flag involved, and there was
Off the station, yeah.
yeah.
Is this a we have a flag, do you have a flag situation?
We had to throw it over the cryo tank kind of thing. Yeah, it was a whole. Yeah, it was a whole like subterfuge. Like, look over there, and we're squeaky
But
down
we
the
did
hallway.
it by the books. Everything we have proper clearance.
Yeah,
we have
that's
all the
true.
paperwork involved.
Yeah, that's right.
We have the correct things we need to carry that body. It's just we have to do it before anybody knew the body was missing. It's
Well, then that works out.
right. It's fine. It's fine. I'm not worried.
I mean, in this case, we didn't ask for forgiveness or permission. We just got the permission.
Right.
We obtained the permission. So what's the problem?
And we're probably going to get there about the time the message that you crafted about all this hits Exodus too. So it's going to hit Exodus, and then we're going to be
Nope, you guys are going to show up
before that.
about half the time it's going to take for the message to get there. Because all the
Because
messages...
we have the new drive.
Yes, messages
Oh, yeah.
move at jump 1 still.
Okay.
Something
you guys are
else
at jump 2.
To reference, one of the jumps put us back at Dolan's Peak, and we saw there a giant science vessel that may or may not be investigating the lurkers. We don't know. But we managed to keep them on the opposite side of the gas giant than where we were, so we don't really know what's going on. But they also don't know that we were there.
We refueled and jumped out. But we
It's a science vessel from
Ustas.
Ustas.
Yeah,
Like
it's a-
Usnov, and I was like, that's the Navy. That's the actual current Navy, not Usnov right now.
No.
But we got a whole, cryopod full of nanotech. We just weren't going to hang out and find out what was going on.
Yeah.
Next
Bad
time.
craziness.
Next time. We'll be back for this.
So we're hoping they're doing the right thing, but they're probably not.
They're not doing the right thing.
Let me hold on to my optimism.
But are
No.
we
This is
Technically
this is our
delivering-
entire relationship.
I know.
technically delivering potential, planet wiping out nanotech to Earth? Is that a good thing? We'll see. What could possibly go wrong?
Right.
I just sent you guys the news feed as you come into the...
Well, thank you.
the-
Guys. I
the
have my
Sol
volume
system.
off.
Oh God.
I got wordy.
It just keeps going.
Holding cats too.
I know. I feel like I'm being shouted at.
Did you? I'm feeling attacked.
Well,
Did
it
you
is new.
just now type all this?
Oh, dear Lord.
Oh my God.
Okay, there we go.
Okay.
There we go.
Why don't you give us a too long didn't read version?
Okay, all right.
Oh, thank goodness.
The first one is from the Chinese news agency. Mitsu Corp enters into J2A licensing agreements with all 4 superpowers. The TLDR on that is that they're going to start retrofitting. Most nations are going to start retrofitting their communication ships first. There was a bunch of organizations that wanted sort of like a non-militarized application of the device that was on the original agenda, but they didn't even discuss it. Let's see. The second one is from News Terra, and that's from Brussels, and that's accusations of nanotech violations paralyze the UN Security Council, and that's basically everyone accusing everyone else of stealing nanotech from Elder Star Alpha, except for the Chinese, who no one accused them of doing so.
So they definitely did it. They just did it better.
Probably.
Or they just have the dirt on everyone else and nobody's going to risk.
And then News Terra, another story from Seattle, Washington. Exodus Foundation announces Nanotech Watchdog Task Force. And the original founder, who's a former director who's like acting as spokesperson, said they're going to assemble a task force to go to Elder Star Alpha because the scientists that are there are obviously not supposed to be letting this stuff out, and they're claiming that they have. So they're going to go there and basically to monitor to make sure that the stuff in this one dead star system doesn't spread all over. But according to the UN Security Council, it already has, and everyone's got it.
And technically, we know that it already has because
We found some.
we have it
And we're spreading it.
in the cryo.
We're not
We're not
spreading,
spreading it. We're
You've moved
transporting
it.
it. Transporting and spreading are two very,
If
very
spreading it would be
different things.
leaving some there and taking the rest with you.
Well, and technically, it would be spreading it like we would have dropped some off at every stop.
Right.
Look, this is the last game for like 3 months. I can totally see our ship coming out of jump, and it's we're all dead inside, and
Gray sludge.
and then our new characters come in, like the opening of Aliens.
Oh, God.
And then the last story.
I mean, as much as I love my character, I kind of also love this direction.
I'm willing to roll with this.
Oh my god. Sign me up.
The alien artifact is just pulsing.
Yeah.
It's the only thing left.
It's made the nanotech sentient.
This is from was it Xinwen, which is the another Chinese news agency, I think. New Amsterdam Procyon,
Procyon, I think.
Procyon. Small-scale naval engagements continue in Procyon and WZ Canis Minoris systems, and basically that's just saying that the fighting is still happening between the EU and the RC in that area around Elder Star Alpha. And that's basically the stories.
So basically, the wars have not been completely wiped out because the armies are not both dead from the leak of nanotech. Good news.
Yes.
Do we know if it's the same nanotech? Are the symptoms the same? Did it say anything? Because I too long didn't read. Okay.
I don't know if we would know, like...
There's no symptoms because no one's used anything.
Yet.
They're all
Yeah.
accusing each other
Okay.
of having stolen it and are secretly in various places. Let me see what it says.
But, like, what is the deal with Elder Star Alpha and the nanotech?
They made a new nanotech Accords treaty because of that discovery.
Because they discovered weaponized nanotech on Elder Star Alpha?
That's more advanced than anything humans had ever done.
Okay.
And so they came up with new accords, basically saying this system is jointly owned by all four superpowers. We are going to study this in order to come up with countermeasures because the going theory is it destroyed the star,
Okay.
which terrifies everyone because
Yeah.
that's pretty much everyone's assumption is, oh well, if we got some of it, throw it into the nearest star and no problem.
So we definitely shouldn't throw the guitarist's body into the nearest star.
We don't know if our nanotech is that nanotech.
But better safe than sorry,
Right,
and
right.
especially when sorry means, killing an
I'm like
entire
90%
system.
sure it is.
Are you or your character?
My character.
How would he know about it?
Because what the scientist said about the fact that it doesn't need organics to eat up and that nothing can destroy it. He said that to all of us. We're like,
Right,
what about
but-
lasers? He's like, no, won't
So
do
why
anything.
would he connect that with the Alpha Star or whatever place it is?
Because there's a big nanotech leak of indestructible nanotech that could eat up non-organic materials. Doesn't that sound a lot like the indestructible nanotech that eats up non-organic materials on our ship?
I mean, did you know that? I mean, if you had all that knowledge before we got here into the system.
We did because we were all remember this. We went and talked to the scientist.
Right, but the scientist wasn't he was a doctor. He's like, from what I know of medical nanotech, like, so he wouldn't know about the...
Yeah, he tried everything he could, but he couldn't
Yeah,
kill
he's
it.
like, I don't know, I'm not an expert in this.
And I said, "What can we destroy it by burning it?" He goes, "No." He said, "This stuff is.
Right,
I tried that. It doesn't do anything."
right,
Okay.
yeah,
So we so far know that you can't burn it to death.
yeah.
We don't know that it's indestructible. We just know that it's severely resistant to heat, and it eats organic and inorganic matter.
And making it cold really slows it down.
It doesn't
It
stop
doesn't-
it, but it slows down.
Yeah.
So it is impacted. It's like fire nanotech. So far is what we know for sure.
It seems to be. Yeah,
It's immune to fire, but resistant or weak to cold.
yeah. It doesn't destroy it or stop it, but it very much slows it down, which is why all of it's frozen. Like, the body's frozen.
And it doesn't actually stop it.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
It slows down.
But it does slow it down.
Okay.
Have we tried exposing any of it to a vacuum?
See, we're afraid about the vacuum as far as space vacuum because we realize that electromagnetic currents give it, metastasize. Make it,
Okay.
That's
So
bad.
it can eat electromagnetic radiation.
Or at least it's a catalyst for it.
Okay. I don't know if electromagnetic radiation is the thing. I just made it up.
I was very convincing.
Yeah.
I was
I
following
hear,
that.
I hear the technical
I was
babble.
like, Pooja knows what she's talking about.
It totally is. It actually
Awesome.
EM radiation, yeah.
I was like, I watch a lot of sci-fi shows and read books.
I'm gonna nod.
That includes all radiation, heat, light, is all EM. Okay, so you guys come into system, and immediately there's a ping, urgent message from the Exodus Foundation.
All right, let's pull it up.
Who wants to answer it?
Well, it's a message, it's not a phone call.
Well, we have a face.
I said, I'll answer it.
Okay. Well, it's
Or I'll
just
lose
it's
the
just a message. It's like a recorded message. It's like when this transponder comes into the system, transmit this encoded message.
Oh.
And it says, "Do not approach the system." We're sending because you sent a report, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Including what you were bringing. That's what I'm trying to remember.
I'm trying to remember that.
I
too.
believe so
I think
because
we did,
that's
'cause-
how I prepped this, and I prepped this the night after we
no,
played.
I didn't send the report.
Okay, all right.
I wrote the report. He delete the report. I rewrote the report to send to Shari in
Yeah.
case we had to leave or something happened to us. She had all the information. So no, I didn't send the report to them.
I
right.
thought we sent it when we ended up heading to Earth. We sent it ahead of us.
Yeah, I remember
At
you,
the very
you had him
end.
delete it, and he got all mad, and then you had him rewrite it.
But I thought I rewrote it for
We
Shari.
did, but but that was before we decided to steal the stuff and head out to Terra. I feel like at the very end we were like, all right, we're leaving now, because remember we had the PR guy for the band
Right.
announce.
Are you telling me you left me on?
No,
No, you came back.
We just weren't sure if
Oh,
something was going to happen to us. That way, you at least had the information because you weren't.
I was
Oh,
like,
did-
damn, that's cold.
We were tired of you complaining about Exodus.
Well, we were kind of afraid that we'd be murdered.
Don't actually complain about Exodus.
We were
Much.
we were afraid of someone trying to come and clean up the mess and murdering us all. So we wanted someone we trusted to have the information if we got cleaned up.
Right.
So that was our thought process there, because you were on the surface of the.
And we could easily have,
Yeah.
I could easily have rolled twos and opened up this nanotech tube, and you were still on planet, so you would be the only one who's safe to keep the
I don't
game
remember
going.
if I sent it or not. I'm just going to throw pencils now.
You know what?
But I'll
Actually,
see.
it doesn't matter
Okay.
because it wouldn't have gotten here before you guys got here anyway.
This is true.
So forget what I just said about
Okay.
that.
Okay.
You're
So
you're in the
We've
terror.
completely fucked over all his prep guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Not really.
Also,
Now I know.
you know what we should do, and part of this, however 4 weeks or whatever we're on the ship, is set up that the next time we're going past the planet with the university, is prep your report to put into the dead drop for.
Yeah. So you send me like whatever encryption you use normally.
Yeah, for Dr. Zarya.
Or he sent all the info to you. Just do it, right?
Yeah. I can assist you with that. Just make sure it all makes sense.
All right. So you guys come into the Sol system, and you come in like way out by like Neptune or something, way out there,
Sweet.
and you do not receive a message.
Okay. Has there been
That message is still 4 weeks away.
has there been any major changes with the nanotech or with what's his name?
I don't remember. Takashi?
Two crows?
No.
Takashi.
Takashi.
Yeah.
No, that was the name of my character.
Oh,
Well, he's in a med bay, if I recall correctly.
he's in like a low birth like coffin situation.
And you also have their and kind of a low birth,
Tahashi.
a low birth,
Low birth. That's what I meant.
yeah. Toshiro Yamoto.
That's what it is.
As we all mess up the name in different ways, and all manage to get it wrong.
So you have that, and then you have like 3 or 4 like cryo boxes that have samples that they isolated to see if they could kill them, and of course it didn't.
Right.
They just kept growing. So they're near absolute zero, and they're still growing
Have
ever so slowly, but still growing.
Have we attempted a man-made vacuum? Can we do that?
Probably.
Just in case.
You have 2 crows do that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it couldn't hurt.
Okay.
I'm just saying, if we have our own contained vacuum, then we don't have to worry about them, growing uncontrollably, released out into space.
That's true.
And did the doctor come with you guys?
Yes.
He did.
But
Okay.
he wants to come with us.
Let me
his
grab
name?
his name real quick.
Torres? Yeah, Torres.
He was kind of afraid of being cleaned up. He's like, I'm pretty sure you guys are going to kill me, and everyone here is going to kill me. So
Yeah.
Dr. Emil Torres.
Emil. I just have Dr. Torres written. Thank you.
Awesome.
So he says we can create a vacuum inside one of the containment boxes, but we need some place to put the air we pump out of it because we probably shouldn't just pump it into the ship's atmosphere.
that's probably a good plan.
Can we just do it like on a really small scale, like like a jar? Does it have to be?
Can we pump the air into another containment device?
You guys have one. Someone make a roll. See if you have any of these things on board.
What do you want me
'Cause
to?
I don't think you didn't bring extras. I know you didn't bring
Right.
extras.
But anything like an empty O2 canister that we would have had for EV suits or.
Oh yeah, something like that. You probably could do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. So they hook some.
Improvised containment device.
Right. They hook something up. It's going to take them like an hour to get everything ready and do it
Okay.
and see what the results are. Right now, you guys are hanging in dead space. You're just going to sit there.
Yeah. Do we want to go into Seoul? Do we want to contact Exodus from here on a secure channel and see what they advise?
Yeah, it may not be a bad idea to contact them before we get there.
I
That
feel
way, in case they don't feel comfortable with us going directly to them, we can find a rendezvous point. Yeah, I can contact our contacts at Exodus. Do we have the name of our
Who's our handler?
our meeting supervisor?
Let me look real quick.
And do we have protocols for code when things are dangerous?
I'm sure you do.
The fat man walks alone, Exodus. We repeat, the fat man is walking alone.
So alone. Help, please.
The crow sings at midnight. The crow
Gross.
sings at midnight.
Okay, your field supervisor, basically your boss on Terra, is Adrian Burden.
Eric Burden's great
Grandchild.
yeah.
And is it
Burden.
Adrian R.A. or R.I.A.N. or
RIAN.
Okay.
There's another way to spell Adrian.
I was making sure male or female. Like,
Is the
Adrian,
spelling
Adrian.
different?
Adrian or Adrian?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess it could be NNE.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I-E-N-N-E.
This is ADRIAN.
Okay.
So that's the male spelling? Was that
Typically-
under male? Was that?
I think it can be.
It might be either or.
I've had students with either, but that could also be their parents just not knowing the difference when they
Right.
did their birth certificate.
Which kind of makes it equally valid, seeing as
yeah, absolutely.
names are just
So let's go-
names are literally just things we make up.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So you send a message. What are you saying in the message?
Vanguard reporting from mission on, or back from our mission on Dole's Peak, because that was our last official mission.
That was
Oh
our
no,
last-
from we're getting
Opiuchi. 70 Opiuchi.
Yeah, so the Opiuchi. Came across a delicate situation. Potential for. Oh no, I'm trying not to completely worry them. Potential for.
Intergalactic disaster is not what we want to say.
Right, that's what I went to. I'm like, that's way too dangerous.
We have come across a suspicious activity regarding
Potential threats to civilian safety.
civilian safety and protected classes.
Yeah,
Okay.
please advise.
And we'll put the priority code or whatever it is for the protocols for.
It's like a 20-minute wait, and then the message, you receive a message back from Adrian Burden, and it says, is this discovery of such a sensitive nature that you cannot transmit? Details.
Affirmative.
Yeah, affirmative. Due to the sensitivity of the issue at hand, would prefer a face-to-face.
It's a small matter. It's a very, very, very,
Very
small
small
matter that could be very dangerous.
Minuscule.
It's
Molecular.
It's a
micro
we
issue.
would prefer
But despite the smallness of the issue, it's still there's still an issue.
need personal contact in secure location.
Yeah. Please advise.
Would there be any issue with you making planetfall?
Potentially not if we take the shuttle. Like, we wouldn't want to bring the
Yeah.
whole ship. But if we
Yeah,
take the shuttle, shouldn't be an issue. We can arrive by shuttle to whatever location you deem most secure.
I'll see you in my office.
Really?
Affirmative.
Note to self. Field supervisor, moron. Just make a little tick in my
Right.
mental notebook.
Affirmative. We'll see you in however long it'll take us to get from Neptune to Terra.
Day or two, probably.
Okay. We'll contact you when we are breaking orbit.
Okay. Who's
Well,
going?
I assume the four of us.
Okay.
The doctor.
The doctor wants to stay with the samples.
Okay, then we'll leave the doctor on the ship for now.
Because we need somebody knowledgeable enough to. I mean,
Maintain.
not the two crows isn't
But it's completely out of his wheelhouse.
probably more.
Right. What did
you
we
know,
say?
competent than
if
we
it
are.
can't poop, he doesn't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
I'm a doctor, not a nanotechnologist, damn it.
Yes, probably just the four of us at first, and then if they want to meet with the doctor, if they want to meet with
Okay.
yeah,
All right. So
I mean, if they want to vaporize us all.
right.
It's gonna happen.
there are, as you start to approach Terra, there are, of course, dozens of orbital stations, many of which have very large military capital ships on them. Because, I mean, the sky is sort of divided up by the various superpowers. So, like, in a geostationary orbit over Russia is the RC's naval fleet stations and stuff. But I mean, there's stuff all throughout the solar system, obviously. And so you do all of the necessary things to get clearance to go on
Who
Planetfall.
would be like the person to leave in charge with the four of us disembarking?
It has been two crows.
Okay.
Looks.
Yeah.
Sounds legit.
Yes. Two crows. This may seem a bit redundant to say, but if you encounter any kind of issues while you're up here and we're down there, please get this as far away from Terra as possible. We don't want it falling in the wrong hands.
I don't think we want it falling in anyone's hands.
Well, precisely. I'm glad we're on the same page.
Yes. All hands are the wrong hands.
So if we're down there and anybody starts taking interest in you, go. We'll figure it out. I'd rather be stuck on Terra than have Terra stuck with whatever this is.
Will do.
Fantastic.
All right. We'll fast forward 2 days and making Planetfall, and you come
So
to the
I'm
big.
assuming the vacuum didn't work.
Oh, it didn't slow it down. It did actually slowed it down less than cooling it down.
Okay.
Cool. So back to cooling.
I mean, yeah, just don't know what else you can. Smarter minds than ours.
Yeah.
That's why we're here. We
Yeah.
were like, we're a bunch of hammers, and this is a
This is not a nail.
We're a bunch of hammers, and this is a nut.
right.
Exactly.
So you get to the big Exodus offices, and they're based in Seattle, Washington, and it's a big, huge arcology-sized building that's owned by the billionaires who started the organization. It actually has this. It's like the Burj Al Arab, where there's actually like docking stations up like 3/4 of a mile in the sky.
Oh, okay.
So you don't have to.
Start low and work your way up. Perfect.
And you find yourself in the reception area for Adrian Burden, his office,
Okay.
and he's a field supervisor.
Does everything seem normal? Like
Oostos space.
Oostos space, but everything seem normal? Everything seem hunky dory?
Oh, they're busy because there's a bunch of press stuff going on. So a lot of phone calls coming in from people.
What with the new task force and all?
Right, with that, and also in one of the other articles, the founder had piped in about the UN Security Council thing, and of course all of the the U.S., EU, and RC members of the Security Council released statements calling that the whole thing, a publicity stunt or things like that. So So they're fielding a lot of calls to get responses to that. So there's phones ringing everywhere. I mean, people are like answering tons of press inquiries. And you wait a few minutes, and then you get called into Adrian's office.
All right.
He's kind of a short guy. He's like 5'4", kind of round. Old.
Cool. Lovely. Adrian, so good to see you.
Oh, yeah, it's very good to see you. What is this big mystery?
Well,
You might have heard that there was a very large concert on Caliban.
Yeah. How was that?
It
We went
didn't
there.
happen
Oh.
because one of their guitarists unfortunately died.
Oh, dear.
And, we just happened to be in a position to had made some contact with them prior and wanted to make sure that all the, workers on Caliban were safe, infectious disease, all that kind of thing.
Are you doing the... or if you don't, I'll look around,
Yes.
for bugs kind of thing.
Yeah, okay.
While, my EM device is scanning for...
Okay.
While I make small talk.
You have electronics, right? Or comms or something
I have
like that?
comms.
Yeah, make a comms roll. Maybe add int.
Yeah, well, that's a 10 plus 1 is 11.
Okay. The room is not clean. There is something, you don't know what, but there is something here.
And, what with all of the crazy things that are going on with the children of Caliban?
Oh, that's the sort of eco-terrorist guys, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, and we just think that there might be, a very large threat to the population, both indigenous and...
From them?
From the children of Caliban.
Huh.
That they may have broadened their horizons past this. You heard about the stadium attack, yes?
No, word wouldn't have gotten to him yet. What a stadium attack.
Oh, they destroyed the entire stadium there. The concert was supposed to take place, and I think that they, they've really broadened their sights in their attacks. Then, for some reason, they held the band responsible.
Is it possible that was done by Zada Neoterra?
That the stadium was destroyed by Zada Neoterra? All the signs pointed to the children of Caliban, including their marks all over the building.
Yeah, but looking at who benefits.
True. There may be larger considerations here, which is why we decided to report back to you. But definitely, we feel like there are some larger considerations.
He's not very perceptive.
there's a reason they took him out of the field.
Yeah. We're gonna have you push paper.
But you know what?
You're gonna fail.
We have been in space for such a long time.
So long.
I mean, so long. Would it be too forward for me to ask that we go, get some Terran food? I've missed it so much.
Oh, sure. Yeah. There's a dim sum place downstairs.
Fantastic. Why don't you come with and you can tell us what's best on the menu?
Oh, sure. Absolutely. Yeah. I was about ready for lunch anyway.
Fantastic.
It looks like you already had lunch.
Eh,
But I
second
said
lunch.
Second lunch.
I'm not judging.
11sies.
11sies is, I was about to say, it's kind of early for second lunch.
Okay. So you guys go down to the dim sum place. Mm-hmm. It's like three floors down. Little open air thing.
Do we have
Do we have another contact here?
Well,
Or,
I was
who's
actually
his
thinking,
This is your
supervisor?
boss.
Is there like a book of protocols, like words that we can say, like that we can say if it's
Sure. Yeah, there probably
that
is.
we're
Yeah.
concerned about being overheard and we have dangerous information we need to share?
Yes.
Is there
Do we have like more of the Fat Man walks
Right,
alone?
right.
What's the next level up for the Fat Man walks alone?
Right.
It's like, or even
fact-
just a code number? Is there like a code 0179? Anything like that.
You shouldn't give out your bank pin so easily.
Oh yeah, you have my full attention.
That's what we say to him?
Yes.
Oh no.
Okay.
It's a terrible code.
It's like the
And is there a code for we're concerned about being monitored? Or
No, that's it. That's
it.
that's
That's the one
the
code.
code saying we need to go to a secure area.
Okay.
We can't talk about this
okay.
in an unsecured location.
So he says like,
So you guys are eating dim sum.
oh, okay. Well, I mean, tell me all about what your favorite things are, because you have our full attention.
then we all stare
We're all
at him.
staring at him.
And not just delicately taking my steamed soup bun.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Check, please.
Pays the bill,
Yeah.
and then you go like up 4 floors, and this is like one of the secure levels, and he takes you into basically the equivalent of a super high tech Faraday cage,
Okay.
and it's like a conference room. Did you ever see Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy?
No.
Yeah.
Long time.
That's
But I
very good.
did see a very nice secure room on The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
Yes.
Oh, is there one in that?
Yeah.
I gotta
It's
watch that
hilarious.
show.
It's sort of that thing where it's like it's a big open warehouse sort of thing, and there's like almost like a cargo container that's been modified that's sitting there by itself that has no wires attached to it. You can look underneath, you can make sure that there's no monitoring things on it, and it's insulated and got all kinds of stuff. So he leads you into he leads you into this thing, and they shut the door and beep 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 beep, shh, and the cone of silence comes down.
Yes. Go to silence.
I love that. Oh, Get Smart was my favorite
It's the
show.
best show.
Remember the cards?
Of course.
That was
Yes. Yes. In retrospect, actually, as a out of character aside, I was talking to Get Smart about someone a couple of months ago and had like a total epiphany that I was like, I really should have realized that I should be in props much earlier, considering my favorite parts of Get Smart were all the gadgets.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But back to this. So we're in a mode of silence.
Right, and it basically has like a conference table, and you all sit down. He's like, "All right, so what's really going on?"
So somebody infected the guitarist with nanotech.
Oh,
Yes.
that's terrible.
Yes,
You should
yes,
have
it
seen
is.
the nanotech hat on him.
Do we know who it? Do we have any suspects?
On the page that I'm eating popcorn off of. Our prime suspect seems to be Mr. Arthur Pena.
Pena. Who's Pena?
He is the person in charge of
Who's Pena?
Eurobotics.
Oh,
Also a shareholder of ZNT. Or on the board of ZNT.
okay. So he got motive. All right. He's taking notes. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yes, we know that they were both.
Now,
at a-
there's some, according to the Accords, there's some disclosure things that have to happen with law enforcement at this point, you realize.
I don't think that necessarily would be our best bet.
What better way to make him run than to know that we're on to him?
Well, I mean, there's
Not just that, but like, I mean,
there's
there's evidence of collusion, at least amongst the authorities that were monitoring Caliban.
which authorities, as in?
As in the, like, we have reason to believe, based on our personal observations of Caliban, that the intelligence of the life there has been vastly underreported and concealed in order to speed up and smooth the way for the terraforming of the planet.
Sure. Yeah, that does not surprise me at all. But this nanotech thing, having that information comes with certain reporting requirements according to pretty much every country's laws on the planet.
True. All the same countries that have just been accused of stealing said nanotech.
Right.
And Exodus has a very newly minted task force to oversee the status of said nanotech.
Yes, we were surprised to hear about that when our illustrious founder mentioned it.
And would it not be in our best interest to first report it to them and have them compile the necessary information so that we are not spreading panic amongst the systems?
Yeah.
Especially seeing as we are currently in possession of said nanotech.
I understand that look, but it was safer than leaving it on Caliban.
So you brought it to Terra, the most populated system in explored space.
Technically,
we brought
no.
it to the orbit of Terra. It is not on world. I was sure of that.
That's why you brought your shuttle.
Yes,
Exactly.
of course it is.
It's all coming together. Okay. All right. I need to consult with my boss. His boss is project director of field operations, guy above him, Winston Wolf.
Oh my god, I love these names.
Wolf? You calling him the
Wolf?
I mean, all you had to say was you were going to send a wolf.
Yeah.
So he goes over, beep beep beep, opens the door, goes outside, gets out his, and then he comes back in and says, he's gonna be here in a couple of minutes. He's on his way.
He just says the wolf is on his way. Sorry, I can't help myself.
I've been a big fan of yours for a long time.
I'll be there in 27 minutes.
2.5 minutes later.
So you have samples of this?
On our ship, yes. Including the body of the guitarist who was infected.
We have all the samples. We have pretty much everything that is known to have the substance.
Including the doctor who discovered the substance in the first place.
Okay, that might be better. It's all in one place.
Yes.
Okay.
That was our
Except-
fault.
Just so you're aware, currently, there is no known way to destroy this nanotech. It thrives on heat.
I'm pretty good at destroying stuff, and we haven't figured out a way.
It multiplies in a vacuum. It eats electromagnetic radiation. It, I say eats,
Consumes.
but it consumes and converts to, uses it to power its own processes, replication, electromagnetic radiation, and the only thing that we have found that is so far able to slow its process is exposure to extreme cold.
And that just slows it.
It
Yes.
only slows it. So, just to make you aware, prior to any hasty actions being taken that might or might not expose the entire space area around Terra to all the nanobots, such as the unfortunate destruction of our vessel.
That's not the worst part either. The worst part is that it feeds on both organic and inorganic, and there's no off switch.
But it doesn't get through the epidermis of the skin.
At least so far.
That's the good news.
The epidermis is the skin.
Well, I blow things up. I don't know about those things.
Damn it, Sherry. I'm a soldier.
I'm a truther, not a
Beep, beep.
doctor.
Little light goes on. He goes over, opens the door, and in walks the wolf.
Looks a lot like Harvey Keitel.
Yeah, it does now.
Sure.
Could it look like anything else?
I was told I was needed.
Yes. Actually, Sherry, do you have a copy of the report that I sent to you?
I do.
Can you please hand it to Mr. Wolf so we can catch him up?
Not in here.
Oh.
I don't carry paper products around with me, just like...
I didn't think I said
You
it.
probably it was probably electronic, but
Yes.
what with everything using a cloud, you're not getting attached to any cloud in here.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, but I would have it downloaded onto my own device. But
you could.
Would that operate? Because I wouldn't have uploaded it to any cloud. I would keep it
Right.
on
Oh,
me
okay.
personally.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
But the idea is, can any electronics operate in this
Yes.
area? Oh, okay,
Yes.
never mind. I was like, do I look like a secretary to you?
I figured it'd be quicker.
Fine. I beam over a copy of the.
Weep.
Yes.
Okay.
I swipe a copy over.
All right.
In that way that the service tablets never actually.
And he sits there for about 10 minutes and he's reading. Looks like he does that Evelyn Wood speed reading thing. Does anyone remember that?
I tried to learn that when I was a child.
I don't think it's actually reading. I think it's
It's
skimming.
not. It
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
It turns out all of the claims were a lie.
Yeah.
It was huge. One of my sisters actually took the course.
My dad ordered them all on cassette for me.
It wasn't actually a lie. It just was in the fine print, and nobody could read it fast enough.
So he sits there and looks through it and says, "Okay, I'm going to give you a set of coordinates, jump coordinates,
Okay.
and I'm going to give you a name. You're going to need, when you arrive at the jump coordinates, you're going to need to give this name. This is all I'm going to tell you right now."
Okay.
We're listening.
They will be able to help you. Just know the contact name I'm giving you is friendly to our cause.
You say that with such portent, like we wouldn't expect it.
Well,
Okay.
You will be
Yes.
leaving this room, yes?
Yes,
I don't want you having the information that's in my head when you leave this room.
I see.
So he hands you a piece of paper, written on it are jump coordinates.
Okay.
And they're long. Because jump coordinates, that's very complex now.
That is what they would have to be. But what's the name?
The name is...
I thought it was the name, or this name was like the code word.
Oh, come on, word. What is she?
Please enter another name.
Another name.
It's like a game of Zord.
It's like password.
Hit any key. I don't see the any key.
The files are in the computer.
I love that movie.
Man.
Dr. Brianna Hutchinson.
Okay.
Hutchenson. It has a red squiggly line underneath it, so there must be a better way of spelling Hutchinson.
It doesn't get names very well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Like
mean,
ever.
autocorrect is like,
Unless your name is also a word.
and
like
then
a
it
word
tries to not ever capitalize it or always capitalize it no matter when you use it.
Yeah.
If your name is also a word, it's just going to separate to
If
also
I'm using
a
a
word.
regular keyboard, I turn autocorrect off, especially
Well,
doing
also-
role-playing game stuff.
What I
yeah.
also want to know is like, what is Puna? Because iPhones always try to autocorrect my name to Puna, and I'm like, Poona. Last I checked, was not the city in India.
Are you looking it up?
I'm looking it up.
I am too.
Pune in British or Pune?
No,
A city in West India
but
in West
Poona.
Poona
Oh, it's an
In-
alternate spelling for the place where my grandmother lives.
in British. That must be the British spelling of it.
Oh, so
Phonetic. Yeah.
so
It
what
says
you're
it's-
telling me is iPhones are colonialists? Okay.
Yeah,
Clearly.
I don't think that's a surprise.
No, that's not surprising.
Like, hey, I'm just making another mental note that iPhones are colonizers. Like, and now that mystery has been cleared up, I was like, because I've been there many times and I've never seen it spelled that way.
If you went to a British pub, you would.
No. Also, I don't think Pune was important enough
No, I don't.
back in the day, and now it's like just like where the crazy film school is.
Well, when we've been on our Slack, we've been talking about Bog Fest because it's coming up, which is our night show, April 13th, 8 p.m. at Lost Brewing Company. Be there.
As he pointedly looks at the camera.
It's free. You just have to buy your
It's
own
free.
beer.
You got to buy your own beer, and there will be food trucks.
Yeah.
Or at least one. Anyway, we put in Bog Fest, and it was replacing both words with something else, and it became a thing. So now it's like blarg fart. And
Big feast.
right.
Yes.
I like it.
Okay.
So Brianna Hutchinson, jump coordinates, and
He says, if I can find a way to do it, I will try to let her know of your arrival. I may not be able to.
well, we are the fastest thing in the system currently.
Yes.
Will she recognize I have your full attention?
No. She's not an employee. She's just friendly to our cause.
May we use your name?
Yeah, you may have to.
Okay.
Technically, under the nanotech accords, transporting it was a felony.
Well,
So we're not going to mention this outside of this room.
oh good.
That's never happened.
Yeah.
This is not currently happening.
We talked about children of Caliban.
Right. Trying to think.
Also, I mean, just as a matter of like, due diligence and we should do our jobs, somebody really needs to deal with the fact that they're going to destroy a sentient life form that we've never seen before on Caliban.
I'm assuming you beat your report here.
Yes.
If you can give me a copy of that report, Adrian and I will do what we can. We have two other vessels in Ustas space. One of them might be in that region, so we might be able to at least send someone to, if not stop it, at least monitor it.
And
Dolan's Peak.
the International Society of Xenologists, or as they might also be referred to as the International Association of Xenobiologists.
Bloody Splinter is.
We have a contact there, Dr. Donna Vasquez. She would be the best and, at this point, safest point of contact for anyone else venturing into the Caliban area.
Okay.
If you'd like to get on her good side, maybe get her a window.
Also, it might be important to note that the Ustas military might know about these, but we're not sure.
Oh, you definitely know that.
Okay.
Because the doctor you have on board
Is that on your report?
Yeah,
Okay.
I would have included
Sent-
that in the report.
Okay.
sent word to the nearest Ustas naval base, and
Right.
they're probably there now
Okay.
already.
Yeah. That's why we GTFO'd super fast. 'Cause
Right.
We didn't want any one government getting their hands on this. That's in the report.
One last bit. On our way back here, we had to stop by Dolan's Peak to refuel. And there's was it Ustas science
Yeah.
ship?
Mm-hmm. Yes, Ustas Navy science vessel. There's only like 2 of them because Navy doesn't do a lot of science.
Shocked.
Right.
Shocked.
Now they would have gotten that report by now.
Okay.
I hope they're not doing what I think they're doing.
I have a feeling they are
I'm sure they're doing what you think they're doing.
What do y'all think they're doing?
weaponizing the simians.
Oh, well, yeah.
What did you think they were doing?
I didn't know. I'm not. It's not my field of science there, but yeah, of course they're trying to weaponize the lurkers. That's like the first thing we try to do in the Marines. It's a little Marine joke. Never mind. It's yes.
We have
Technically, I think the first thing you would try to do in the Marines is the first thing that the Marines did when they got there, which is kill them all.
Well, Yeah, that too. There's not a lot of science in the Marines.
No.
It's like aliens, you know. All I need to know is where they are.
You're going to need to come up with a story. Why you were transporting this stuff and why it was your only alternative. I only say this because where you're going, not everyone is friendly. Things will get overheard. Reports might be written. We'll need a defense. Don't leave there until you hear from me.
All right.
When we left, also, I'm sure this is all going to be discovered in about 4 weeks' time. There's going to be a shitstorm coming in down the wire.
Thanks for the new engines, by the way. Super helpful.
Yep.
Yes.
Yes, very, very.
So you might start working on damage control now.
Oh yeah. That's why I want you to come up with your story. Get it straight. Make sure everyone on the crew knows it. Once you have your story, send me your official report integrating that story. I don't want to know what's truth and what's not.
Right.
That's important right now.
All
I
right.
understand.
That's it. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
He walks out of the room.
I
and-
just want to let you know, Mr. Wolf.
I was like, it couldn't be me to do it. It couldn't be me. Someone on that side of the table, take it.
If I seem curt, it's because time is of the essence.
So pretty please, with sugar on top. Clean the fucking car.
Get rid of the fucking nanotech.
Every time my fingers touch brain, the guns of the Navarone. All right.
I don't remember being on brain detail.
Why am I on brain shield?
Sorry.
All right. I just watched that like about a week
First big
ago.
movie I worked
That's
on?
why I named him.
Yeah, my name's in the credits.
That's awesome.
Is it?
Yeah, first big movie I worked on. Yeah.
Oh, no kidding.
Sit there all the way through the Stork, down at the very bottom under painters.
It's Stork?
Yeah. I might say, yeah. It's Stork is in there.
Stork is part of the name that is in the credits
Yes.
under painters.
Yes. I think I was listed as Stork on Killing Zoe when we did the murals. It just said Stork, so. And that was the year after Pulp Fiction. Anyway.
All right.
Moving right along. Great.
And then he
so-
leaves, and like as he goes, he barks Adrian's name, and Adrian goes running after him.
Can we sit in this quiet room and come up with a cover story here before people overhear it?
Yeah, you can close the door.
Do you
Yeah.
think the reason we're transporting this body is for the wishes of the family to bury it?
That was my thought. We already have that on paperwork.
Right?
Yeah, so I believe we
Yes,
stick to
the
the
question
story.
is so out of character because just details of what happened
Yeah.
last time. But the scientist that came with us has already sent a report to the U.S. Navy saying there is nanotech in the body.
Yes.
We need a story that explains why we have both the dude who knows there's nanotech and spread the word and the body with nanotech, and family wishes aren't going to cut it.
We don't have to say that we know there's nanotech.
Yeah, we
And
can
that-
say something to the effect of the doctor didn't feel comfortable with us taking the body without him there. He didn't tell us why. So we took the doctor with us. We're like, okay, well, we're escorting the body home. You want to come with us? Cool. We don't have to show that we know that there is nanotech in there already.
And you could say something of he died of a mysterious disease, and so the doctors would rather just have to be there with
Yes,
the body
and so he
while we transport.
decided not, and that puts the blame solely on him, and I'm actually okay with that.
Yeah, I don't think we have to go that far. I think we're
Yeah.
saying the doctor demanded he come with us, did
But
not
would
tell us
not,
why.
but would only say it was the nature of the illness, and us never having suspected that it might be,
'Cause
you
why
know,
would we think it's
insidious,
nanotech?
What do we know?
insidious nanotech.
Right.
Said, okay then,
Right? For all we know, it's like space syphilis.
space herpes.
Yeah.
Space herpes. And
Well,
what movie
nanotech
was
is kind
that?
of
That
space
was
herpes.
Ice
It's
Pirates. Ice Pirates. Nice Ice Pirates quote. Nice. That is like an obscure, bizarre. Wow.
As I just smile and nod because I have no idea what you're talking
Right?
Okay, go watch Ice Pirates. but there's a whole thing
There's a
about
whole thing about space herpes.
space
I'm
herpes.
just like,
I don't know if I want to watch Ice Pirates.
it's like maybe not. But
It's got Ron Perlman in it in one of his early roles.
That's not always a selling
No,
point.
no, it isn't.
You want to rethink that approach?
This movie's so bad it's good. It's up there with...
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So
But I think we stick with the family angle. I think that's going to be our best
yeah,
bet.
we can say we were. Yes, because we already have the paperwork to prove it. So we go with simple. Ignorance is bliss, and in this case covers all manner of felonies.
Are we able to lump in the samples that we also have under that same umbrella? Because with the samples that he took from the guitarist.
Well, that's the doctor's
Well,
doing.
I was about to say, what we're doing is setting the doctor up as Patsy.
Right. Which is a
Who's
shame.
going to convince the doctor to act as our Patsy?
Well,
Because even if I weren't me, even if I were, say, Riley, I would not agree to be your fall guy.
But we don't actually need to throw him to the wolves. This is just the story, and
He needs to buy into this story because this is what we need to sell to everyone on board.
I guess we could.
And if he is hostile to us,
I guess we could prey on his Hippocratic oath and use that to our advantage. Like, you may have to take the hit for this to save all of
we
humanity.
convince him to come with us because there's a possibility his life is in danger. If we convince him that continuing the story is a way of keeping him out of danger, then we may be able to get him to agree to that.
true. But backup
He's
plan?
already in danger because he sent that report.
Right.
So all we can do is keep him moving, but there's nothing we can do to pull him out of that fire. We can just delay it.
Backup plan?
Run like hell?
No. Is
I know it's a backup plan. I think I know what your backup plan is, and
I mean,
Hold the universe hostage?
sorry, I just got back to the. Is there anything to the fact it was on a super busy space station and a place they were going to start terraforming?
well, we think that our best course of action, since we already have paperwork for it, is to maintain our story that we're transporting the body to bring it home for burial. Because we have that. That's the reason we got the body in the
But
first
we
place.
had no idea about the nanotech.
At least to this idyllic planet
Because
of
the-
his choosing that was in his will.
That the doctor took. Basically, that the doctor didn't tell us about the nanotech. We had no idea about the nanotech. He just wanted to come along with the body to prevent further infection from the mysterious disease that the guitarist died from. However, it requires him acting as a, criminal mastermind and
Fall guy.
perpetuation. Yes. And I'm just thinking that in the event that we are not able to convince him that this is the only way, that we need to say something maybe that we had reason to believe that there was a trader in the Ustas Navy that wanted to, say, sell the nanotech to the highest bidder. And that we had to remove it from being no match for their military might, obviously. Not that I don't love the Vanguard. We had to evacuate it for the safety of all on board and everyone else.
I mean, is keeping it away from the Ustas enough to get enough other powers to protect us in some cases? Because keeping it out of one group's hands, keeping it neutral.
But they would have wanted to know why we didn't report it immediately. Right. And saying that we believed that there was a high-ranking trader amongst the
I see.
in the Ustas Navy.
Right. So we reported it to the Ustas Navy, the doctor did, and then we were suspicious about the Ustas behavior. So we thought the best course of action
The
was to keep it
doctor was
neutral.
suspicious of the Ustas
We don't know
behavior.
anything. We don't understand why he did this. He just said he wanted to come along with the body.
But no, this is the if he
The
will.
second story? I see.
This is our backup plan.
Mm-hmm.
Here's how we could try to present it to him. In that, he already submitted this report, so he's already got a mark on him. It's a tough gamut, but he's going to have to play the martyr, which is, in order to save the universe, this was the best choice because he knows how dangerous this is. And at the end of this, he could come out a hero.
Yeah, so I think you're right. I think if we play into the Hippocratic Oath, that could be his best defense.
Because he's already got a mark on his head. I mean, and we can just keep moving around, but he's already in trouble. So all he can do is spin it.
Great.
Yeah, I think we try to angle and that might work.
And we'll have to tell him, we're going to pretend we don't know a thing about this.
We just convince him that it's a good idea.
And you didn't tell us because you are trying to save.
Humanity as a whole.
You saw us as your one hope of getting it off-world because of...
Which may not be too far from the truth, actually.
Well, I don't know if... Generally, if you're lying about things, it's better to stay a bit closer to the actual truth. So, us pretending that we don't actually know anything about the nanotech is a pretty big stretch for everyone on board who knows already. Because there's us, and there's Two Crows, and Attila knows.
Why does Attila know?
Didn't we ask her about the she was the engineer, and Two Crows was like, I'm not an engineer. If it doesn't poop, I can't do anything. So didn't we ask her info on it?
It's a very small ship. I think everybody
small.
knows. It's
Probably
fair to say
everyone.
that everybody on the ship would know.
So if we say that we didn't know when we first took the doctor on board, and then he told us partway through, that gives a reason for most of the crew to know. So then they're just lying about when they found out, not necessarily the whole
But
thing.
it doesn't explain why we didn't stop at any of the stops we had to make and report it then and not move.
Well, we
see-
just say it was after the last stop.
Us not knowing about the nanotech keeps us from committing a felony.
I mean,
I'm just saying that it's more likely to be found out.
That's the problem with a lie. But it is a lie.
But a lie that's closer to the truth is easier to keep than...
There's still a lot of elements of truth in this. Other than we're only omitting the fact that we don't know about the nanotech.
Which is the base part and the part that's the felony.
It's an
yeah,
omission.
so everyone just says, I don't know, rather than trying to coordinate when everyone found out. And then why we didn't then immediately report it. Because we're still not going to report it when we get there.
Right.
So the best thing is that if everyone doesn't know.
All right, if you think that in your interrogation Two Crows could keep that secret, then that's a great plan.
I mean, it's a lot easier to just say, I don't know what you're talking about, than it is to actually convince someone of a more complicated lie. The simpler the lie, the better.
Right, so instead of I don't know, which is a bigger lie, there's more secret there. Yeah, I found out on the voyage.
But they want to know when you found out. And if that timeline doesn't match up with what everybody else is saying, there are minimal variables at play at that point. I don't know is a nice blanket statement.
Yeah, otherwise you're
The
going to...
simplest lie. It's not
If
about
that's what you
having
all think, that is just fine.
I don't want to get isolated in a room and get the date wrong.
Yes, exactly. That is my... When you have a lie that is more complex, it's not about the size of the lie. Either way, the lie is huge. It's not about the size of the lie, it's about the complexity of the lie.
In my experience, that's different, but if you all think that that's the best course of action, I am confident that I can keep that lie. So, all right.
And in my experience with interrogations,
Right.
the simpler the lie, the better.
All right.
All right.
You should practice with Two Crows. A lot.
Fair.
He's
Okay,
just an
we're gonna.
NPC. He never
We need
leaves
to
the
go
lab.
back to the ship and
Get everybody on board with the
and
story.
get everybody on board with
As
this.
soon as
Well,
you-
first we have to go to talk to the doctor. That's the first thing.
Yeah.
But he's on the ship.
Yeah.
Yes.
As soon as you guys walk out of the safe room, Adrian is there, and he says, Wolf City forgot to mention this. Straight to your ship. Don't talk to anyone. Don't go to the ground. Straight to your ship.
Of course.
All right.
I give him a look that very much does and does not say, duh.
That'll be much more diplomatic, duh, but a duh nonetheless.
So we go back to the ship.
Do not pass go. Do not collect $200.
Okay. And 2 days later, you make it back to the Vanguard.
Great.
It takes 2 days to get to and from orbit.
Well, we were.
Oh, no, you're...
Oh, we were
it's
in
way out
Neptune and we
like,
took
by
the
Neptune,
shuttle
right.
Yeah.
from Neptune. Okay, I'm just confused. Ignore me.
2 days to Neptune is pretty impressive.
Yeah, that's...
We have
It
we have the
probably really
best
isn't.
shuttle.
It's probably
it's
a
the
lot.
fastest. It's the fastest shuttle.
Ever.
That's all right.
Okay, so we could just talk to the doctor.
Yep.
Right now, there's,
Okay.
I'm sure, fandom Googling it going, that would be faster than the speed of light. It takes more than 2 days
not
for
even
light to
close.
get from Neptune. I know. I'm just kidding.
I welcome all your pedantic corrections.
It's probably pretty close. Well, it's what, 7 minutes to Mars, light?
We did an actually gif. I can't believe I didn't think
Oh.
actually. Yes. Yeah.
I think
Technically, you could just clip everything that we
Everybody
just
just-
Yeah.
Right.
I have one that might work. You just put the actually underneath it.
So,
Yeah. So we land on the ship.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to go tell the doctor?
We should probably go talk to the doctor.
I'm going to bring my stunner just in case.
that's not even the backup plan. That's the backup to the backup plan.
Well, if he goes crazy and decides to, sabotage the ship, I want to put him down.
I mean, I don't think that's going to be necessary.
I
And
think
we want to make him at ease.
Okay. You're running a point on this.
don't you have a distillery to go check on?
Sure. If I hear screaming,
It won't be us.
okay.
I'll go with y'all.
All right. You're welcome to come. Just don't bring the taser or the stunner
Just
or whatever
keep
you
it
want.
in your pockets.
I'll keep it in my pocket. Don't keep it in my pocket. Would you rather have me have the stunner not need it, or do you want me to just leave it here in case we need it? We don't have one.
We don't need it.
Have you
We'll
seen
never
the
need
doctor?
it.
All right.
I believe that we can physically subdue him if
go,
we need to.
I'll go put it in the locker.
Okay. All right.
Maybe the doctor is secretly a lurker.
I can definitely take the doctor.
I think even Ethan could take the doctor.
Okay. Goodness.
We know you like your new taser.
So
Sorry you haven't
squeamish.
gotten to use it yet.
All right. So you're in the sick bay. Two Crows is there. So is the doctor.
Great.
Hey, Two Crows.
Yeah.
I think someone's feeling sick on the bridge.
Well, have him come down here.
Maybe you should go talk to them.
He rolls his eyes for those listening at home.
It is really epic.
Yes.
He picks up his medical bag.
How are you doing, Dr. Torres?
Oh, fine.
Good. So we have new coordinates where we're going to meet someone to help us with our problem. But there is a bigger problem at hand. Technically, what we have done is technically a felony. So, we have a plan to make sure that everybody gets on, despite the fact that we've done so far as a quote-unquote felony.
And honestly, I'm going to be straight with you, Doctor. The felony is the least of our issues. We are going to a place that should be able to solve our nanotech problem. But if we tell them what we've all actually done, they'll murder us in our sleep. If we're lucky. What we need is plausible deniability to give anyone who might, normally have stabby type intentions.
Well, how are we going to have that? I mean, we would all, the only plausible deniability was if we were all dead from the nanotech.
Technically, no. Technically,
Well, you know that we managed to get our permission for taking the body off-world from Mr. Ryder, who had power of attorney, let us take the body from Caliban to the system to bring it home.
Out of character?
Mhm.
We didn't tell him about the nanotech, did we? I think we did.
He knew.
Okay. All right, cool.
Shiro?
Yeah, I think he did.
Yeah, he sussed it out. He didn't know the extent or how bad it was, but he sussed it out.
Okay.
So the best plan would be for us to more or less feign ignorance on the fact that nanotechnology was involved at all in the death of Tahashi.
Toshiro.
Toshiro. I'm never going to get it right.
Toshiro Yamamoto.
I have it written down, but I'm too lazy
It's
to
like
flip back to it.
Toshiro Mifune.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah. Love Toshiro Mifune.
Famous, like, 60s, 70s, 80s, in tons of samurai movies.
Okay.
Oh, that would explain why it was just the two of you.
I have it written down. I'm going to write it on every
You ever
page.
watch Shogun? He was the Shogun in Shogun.
If
was
you
he?
say so.
Yeah. It was like one of the last roles.
Okay. So we're going to feign that we had no previous knowledge of the fact that nanotechnology was involved in Toshiro's death, that we were simply given permission to take the body from Caliban to the system for burial, or for whatever funeral proceedings they see fit. So, the only issue is the report that was sent before we took the body to the UTAS Navy.
Your report.
So, our thoughts were that the best way to play this would be you deemed it necessary to accompany the body that we were taking because you were afraid of further infection or further exposure to what killed Toshiro, but did not feel that you could divulge the nature of his death to us without... Because you would have feared that if we knew, we would have had to raise an alarm. And we could not...
So, what you're saying is you need plausible deniability.
Well, you...
And your plausible deniability could easily be that you believed that there were forces within the Ustas Navy that would have subverted the course of justice and used the nanotech for their own ends.
Then why would I have contacted them?
This happened, you obtained this knowledge after you contacted them.
How? I
Figure-
sent a message through the Expo system. It's going to take 2 weeks to get there and 2 weeks for them to respond. I sent that message hours before you guys met me.
And yes, they already had shown up at the system.
But they didn't.
No, they weren't there.
Didn't they?
No, they
Oh,
were
no.
at Dolan's Peak.
Oh.
They don't speak.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I didn't say that. I got confused. Sorry. Perhaps you were worried about...
I made a doodle.
Oh, it's... Oh. you drew him under our bus. That's
I drew
right.
him under a bus
Yes.
with a little advertisement for show.
Yeah.
Tuesdays at 7.
Just like my show was on Wednesdays at 9.
Well, it seems logical that you would want to get it off a very populated starport.
So I would convince you to take it to Terra?
No, we never were at Terra. We're never in the system.
No.
Yeah.
Well, we were at the location we'll be heading to shortly. Location that is going to help us deal with our problem.
There's no way for you to say that you didn't know about it at this point.
Oh, absolutely not.
So finding a good reason for you to have kept this secret, like getting it away from a populated place.
Well, the Ustas Navy stealing it and turning it into a weapon ain't the right one because my behavior prior to that is completely inconsistent with that story.
It was just a suggestion.
No, just getting it off of the populated space if you didn't think you could contain it there. Just having it in a populated starport
Station, right.
Station, and getting it out of there the best way you could.
There's got to be something else. There's got to be some other way. Because if this is a felony, I don't see any way I'm not going to prison.
Oh, that's easy. We're going to take care of that. When we get to our location, once we take care of the nanotech.
And there will also be a number of very grateful nations that are happy that you didn't hand it over to Ustas. So there's possibilities that you might be able to be in one of those other those other nations.
So exile.
No,
Just-
no, definitely
I mean,
not.
On Terra, just not Ustas.
But what you will have done is eliminated the greatest threat to humanity in the solar system through your decisive and quick action in removing the nanotech from major populated areas, getting it to the people who are best equipped to deal with it.
And neutral.
Is there really any better expression of the Hippocratic Oath?
So it's not that you'll be going to prison, you'll actually be lauded as a
Those are
one of
very
the
nice
great
things my
heroes of-
defense attorney might say at my sentencing hearing.
no.
Hopefully it won't come to that.
It won't come to that, because in order for them to prosecute for this, they would have to admit prior knowledge that they will not have shared with other nations, not while they're all accusing each other of stealing nanotech in the first place, which they are currently doing. Except for China.
I believe you said when we were on Caliban that you were afraid of what would have happened if ZNT had gotten wind of this.
Well, ZNT had wind of it. And I think he told you that.
Yeah.
And their whole thing was they were
They were
keeping
gonna
the
keep it
whole
wraps.
thing quiet,
Right.
trying to figure out some way to make it go away, so there wasn't yet another PR screw up. They were thinking stupid short term.
Which you could also use as part of your explanation. You did not trust them to handle this correctly. And
For
do-
the,
Well, that's
the
true.
upcoming,
Right.
for however long it would have taken for...
and if they got their hands on it, it would have just spread. They would have mishandled it, and it would have become a catastrophe.
So if Ustas wasn't going to show up for a number of weeks, we were the one neutral party at the station that you thought you could get it in. You had a reasonable explanation for why we could then take the body with us.
And a reasonable explanation why you didn't want to tell us exactly what was going on.
And you did tell us that it's only a matter of time before this gets out of the body and eats away the containment.
Oh yeah.
All legitimate fears, not lies. Play the cards right. You're going to have a book. You'd be on all the vid chats. You're going to. Can you imagine how many private labs you could set up in your name with that?
Can I roll persuasion?
Yeah, please.
Sure.
Someone
Can
with
I
better
assist
social
with
than I had.
Diplomat or
Persuade is definitely the skill you want here.
okay. Can I assist because I also have Persuade?
Yeah, what is it? I forgot what it does.
It'd be a boon, right?
Whoever has the highest skill in it rolls it with a +1 from the other person.
Right. And I only
Okay.
have a 1 in Persuade, so I'll assist.
Add
4,
int.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Okay. All right. This is not how I expected this to go down. And he stands up. He's like, starts going to his quarters.
Doctor. Your answer, please.
Doesn't look like I have a choice.
I really think this is your best option to get out of this with your freedom. And with it being more of a hero figure than a fall guy.
Fall guy is exactly the word I would have used.
Oh, trust me.
They were going to
It could have been much, much worse.
Yes.
It could still be much, much worse.
Don't need threats, I'll do it. He walks out.
Well, that went about as well as I expected.
I'm just saying, it wouldn't be me if I didn't end it with a threat.
Yes. Accurate.
Well, then, all that's left is to tell the crew that knows about the nanotech that they don't know about the nanotech, and and head over to these very normally large coordinates.
Yes.
We should probably scrub the memories of any references to this just to make sure. in case somebody decides to come through and sniff around our computers. Because Two Crows has been doing some work on looking on this a little.
Oh, sure. Yeah, they've been keeping notes and all kinds of stuff inside your computers.
Oh, yeah, so those shall be wiped.
And your multiple reports.
We've got a couple of weeks where Two Crows can go start putting it all on, or maybe on a thumb drive, space thumb
I have
drive.
to delete the report again.
Yeah. We should definitely not keep even in thumb drives. We should have
Everything
none of
is
it.
going to. Everything is gone. Everything needs to be
Completely
purged.
scrubbed.
Yes.
And you know, great.
Yeah,
Let's get on our way.
because you still have the data that you downloaded, right? So because
We sent off a copy of our report to the dead drop.
Because when we get to where we're going, we might need to convince them of what we have is really that dangerous. I'm just saying we might need some documentation of some sort.
I mean,
But-
really, we just have the.
Yeah, we
because
have the actual
thing.
thing.
Yeah.
We have the thing.
Okay.
And a dead body.
And a dead body.
If
That would
it's
be
still
the
there at
thing.
the time.
And
That
Yeah,
would
I
be
don't even
the
want to go
thing.
look. Hopefully it's not a big. Hopefully it's not a puddle in there sloshing around.
Which would just be that much more convincing.
Great sludge.
What we need to have, what we need to not have, is a replicator problem.
right.
Right.
So, yeah, we scrub everything.
Okay.
We head out. I talk to Ethan.
We talked to the whole crew.
Yes. Well, I just figured we'd do it separately.
Probably safest to talk to everyone because probably everyone knows.
Yes. But I mean, if Riley feels like Ethan needs extra coaching in how to say the words, I don't know what you're talking about,
Nah, he doesn't.
I don't think Riley should be the one to give that to him.
No.
And everyone's on board. Everyone's like, oh yeah, I want to not go to prison for a felony.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I thought you'd all say.
I mean,
gonna
we
take
all want to
persuading.
save everyone and also not go to prison.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not that I'm worried that he wouldn't lie for us, just that he wouldn't be good at it.
I
With
mean,
two
it's
crows?
really,
Yeah.
it's really hard to fuck up.
I don't
I don't know.
Which is another reason why that's the lie I was preferring.
It's 3 words.
I don't know. What's in the box? What's in the box?
Gwyneth Paltrow's severed head.
Wow. Spoiler warning.
Spoilers.
I mean, the movie's been out for
Over 20 years.
years.
Is it though? It could have been Schrodinger's cat. We never actually see. We don't.
I mean, we do. We
Yeah.
see it.
Yeah.
Do we?
Yeah.
That's
It's
what that
not-
flash is.
It's been so long since I've seen
remember
it.
that, yeah.
I just remember the grease stain on the bottom of the box.
Yeah.
Well, I thought we saw it. I mean, I might be wrong. I might be misremembering. But there's like a flash. I remember that part where like it's like a 2-frame shot that in my head is the head.
Are you sure that wasn't like the cut-in frames of porn in Fight Club? They were
Right.
making up?
Same director. It's Fincher.
Also shots of head.
True. Okay.
Happy Jacks would like to apologize. We're going to get back to the game now.
Didn't they throw those
Okay.
in the credits or something at the
Have
end?
we ever seen? Why are you?
Why are
the one
making empty
saying
promises?
Trying to help.
Stork
All right.
is like, for the one time ever, I am not going to be the one keeping us off the game.
Okay,
As
Kimi.
we,
Oh, you have the best anecdote. You have all
know.
the anecdotes.
I know.
Okay. So yeah, everyone's on board. Whoever wants to make their astrogation roll may make their astrogation
That's
roll.
me.
I'll help.
You need your target number is a 4, and you're going to be at -2 because it's a. Well, no, actually, there's no modifier.
Okay.
You realize as you start typing in the huge ass string of numbers that this jump is less than a parsec.
Oh, wow. I don't know if that's better or worse.
I'll help. I have aspiration 1. Not that you needed
Yeah.
it with
No.
it.
10.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
We're good.
So you put all the numbers in and it starts calculating, and you're basically going just outside of Sol's Oort cloud,
Okay.
Uh-oh.
which I looked up online. The Oort cloud, which is like the crap around it's all the stuff when the sun was made or came into existence. That stuff extends like almost 2 light years in diameter.
Wow.
It's huge. It's huge. I thought the Oort cloud was like, but it extends to the point where some of the outer stuff of the Oort cloud is actually could be perturbed by the gravity of other stars.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's huge.
Oh, wow.
crazy.
I'm the only one who thinks that, like, that would be normal, apparently.
I mean, that makes sense when you, like, say it, and you're like, oh, yeah, it's a star forming, but I don't know.
Right.
Like, I'm like, oh, yeah. That sounds completely reasonable to me. I'm the only one, right?
But just see, I didn't think it was that big.
So we're going to Planet 9, aren't we?
No.
Okay.
It's beyond that.
All right.
We're in a Plan 9.
Plan 9.
We're on Plan W.
So you have a week
Great.
because you're in jump space, and that's what jump space does.
In that week, I would like to use my advocate to try to develop a really good defense for the Doctor.
Oh, excellent. Okay.
So I'm going to make a roll for that, or
Sure, yeah,
okay.
go ahead and make that roll.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Okay.
Does that, like, help warm him up to our cause as, like, they're coming up with a good legal defense and maybe he's a little less
Sad.
hateful?
I don't know. You want to talk to him and see what he thinks about that, or do you want to remind him that there might be a trial?
Yeah, that's my concern.
I'm just
This
saying.
is Plan C.
Right.
I'm just saying that. Why are you so concerned about him liking us? At this
Well-
point, like,
I'm concerned about his compliance.
Yeah, that's...
we have his compliance.
Well, his compliance. Quote, air quotes for podcast listeners.
If he gets fucked over, like, he's gonna totally roll on us.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But right now, he is convinced that this is his best shot.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Barring outside forces, we should not continue to poke the bear
Right, which is why I'm kind of doing this
separately.
separately.
Oh, okay.
As in, this is already in case, and like, present for the Exodus Foundation.
Right. Well, and you know, with your good advocate role, if he does get in illegal problems and there is a defense attorney giving him advice,
Yeah, the first thing is...
that is not going to go well for you guys.
No.
Which is why you should be his defense attorney and why you should be building that trust.
Right.
And convincing him that you
Well,
are
let's
his
first
best
see if there
defense.
needs to be if there's going to be a trial at all.
Okay.
I mean, he's never going to make it to trial.
That's what I thought your plan was initially.
Dun, dun,
Well,
dun.
he can't rat on us if he can't talk.
I'm not going to be the one to kill him. There will be...
Vacuum will
I
kill
would
him.
be like... I'm just saying I would be like 5th or 10th in line to kill him at that point.
The way she drives, I mean, she could easily get sucked out of his stateroom. Oops.
Oh, the space shade is strong today.
if ever there was plausible deniability.
Oops. Look, I have a history of doing it. It's
Have
clearly
you seen my driving record?
I didn't know he was outside the ship doing repairs. What was he doing out there?
Why was a doctor doing repairs anyway? Where was Two Crows?
We really shouldn't have put him on that outside stateroom right next to the fragile bulkhead. That was, in hindsight, that may have been me. Sorry.
I mean, he just wanted to be closer to the distillery.
All right.
Oh, good.
Anyone else want to kill any time during the week? Anything they want to
Can we choose different adjectives? You know what? Let's hear. How
I'm
do?
not
In jump space,
saying
you could
that
probably throw him on an airlock in jump space, and no one would ever find him.
ever?
He'd be stuck in a pocket
I am
universe.
not on board with killing Meeble out of hand for no reason. He's perfectly compliant,
Yeah.
and I was not saying, I was very much not saying that I would want to kill him. But I am saying that all the people who are in line to currently kill all of us includes killing the Doctor.
Yeah, absolutely. That's
If this goes that pear-shaped, he would be dead, not from our hand, but because we failed to protect him.
How long was our jump here? 4 weeks, you said?
1 week.
1 week. All jumps
No.
take a week.
Oh, okay. So from
If you're using a jump 5 ship and traveling 5 parsecs, it takes a week. If you're using
Hold on.
if you're using jump 1 to go 8 feet, it takes a week.
I think I might be unclear because I don't think I worked my time up for my brewing when we got from where we were to Terra.
That was 4 weeks.
That's what I'm asking.
Yes.
That's how we bring you on.
That's each week.
So that
That's
was 4
4
weeks,
weeks.
and now 1 more week, so that's
5
5
weeks.
And how long does it take to level up a skill?
It's a number of hours I don't remember how much it was.
It's 320 hours for level 0, and you add 8 weeks per level after 1.
So I think at that point I was.
Oh, no, 8 weeks per level after that.
But you
so
can
like,
you only get what, like, you can only spend like 10 days studying or something, or 10 hours a day studying or something.
I think it's 8 hours a day
Is
studying.
it 8? Okay.
We've been using a 40-hour
Okay.
work week kind of
Right.
that thing that none of us have ever actually experienced.
He's got a real
Wow.
job
All the time.
He doesn't work.
I do too.
He doesn't work in the biz.
Yeah. But I work from home, so it's 8 hours of work.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like that thing that like nobody ever really experiences.
Oh yeah.
Not in the future. You just push the button.
It probably goes up.
I think
But
it
yeah,
gives
so
us
we have-
8 weeks.
Probably
Aren't
60
we at
hours.
8 weeks now? If we
Yeah,
study the same
I think so.
thing?
Yeah.
Okay, since the beginning of the campaign.
But if I'm splitting my, so that's
I would think it would be more than that.
Yeah, I think we would have hit it all by now.
I can tell you really quick because I have my map
I have a-
and I remember where you went. You started out
Not that we want to, level up before combat.
here.
No, not at all.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Was that my pencil, Stork?
Yes.
Oh no,
6,
you're fine. I just couldn't
7,
find. No, you can use it. I was like,
9,
I thought it was going crazy.
10, 11. So you have 11 weeks of travel,
Got it.
Okay, great.
and then now you're going to have, this will be your 12th.
Okay.
okay.
Yeah.
So we have 12 weeks total.
Okay, then I definitely have language,
Americash.
Marrakesh.
And I have gotten a level of vac suit.
And I have brewing. It's
That
zero.
gets you at 0, or you already had 0 and it's going to 1.
That gets me to 0.
Okay.
And this gets me to 1,
Okay.
I think. That should
So we needed how many?
because you need 8 weeks.
8 weeks, and we're at 12 weeks. So
and
we
we're
have-
at 12, so I spent I spent 4 weeks helping you with your Marrakesh. Ish, because I don't want
Right.
to have to do all this math. So yeah, so that would have given me 8 weeks to get to level 1 in a vac suit, and then the 4 weeks of assistance.
Okay.
Right. Guess I spent the other 4 going to a different language, maybe Russian, or whatever. Is Russian probably what we're looking at for that one?
There's Russian. There's
Okay.
Russian. There's Chinese. There's. I don't. What did we? I don't remember what we said. They
we said-
speak in the EU.
French. I think it was. Was it French? I think it was French.
Yeah, that's what we decided that
Yeah.
that we spoke.
But since I'm from the EU, I'm going to assume I know how to speak
French.
French.
Frenchish.
Frenchish, yeah.
Frenchish. And
Free.
Right.
you're Frenchish.
They're Frenchish. Oh, but I'm only 3 because I spent that other week.
They can't all be ish.
You're Frenchish geese.
There you go.
Eurogeese.
Eurogeese.
Eurogeese. I like it.
All right.
All
It
right.
could be
What happens if you say
Euronian.
Eurogeese 3 times, though?
Euronian.
Euronian?
Are we going with Eurogeese or Euronian? I like Euronian.
Euronian's funnier.
Yeah. Which apparently they're turning Beetlejuice into a musical, a Broadway musical.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
There's in previews right now.
Nice.
Is Elfman doing the score?
I don't think so. I don't remember who it was. I'll have to look.
It might actually be out. It might not, because I think I read a review of it.
All right. The so you come out of jump space, and you can see Sol, and it's a little tiny distant dot, and there's like this cloud of stuff, and there is not a huge, but probably like about a 20,000 ton displacement space station, just hanging in empty space. And there are like 2 U.S. TOS frigates docked to it.
I'm sorry, one other thing I wanted to do while we were in
sure.
transit, besides wipe all of the information.
Right. Oh, you guys did that. I think. Did you guys?
We did that like,
Right.
but
Right
I just want to make sure that like it's clear that we wiped everything.
Right.
Is see if I can find any information on Brianna Hutchinson.
You have computers?
I have comms and I have investigate.
Investigate will work. Add int.
Don't you have a Wikipedia page?
So that's 6 plus 3 is 9.
You don't. There's no profiles of her. The only thing you can find are her name on a couple of papers about nano manufacturing that are dated like 20 years ago. That's all you can find. Literally, there's nothing more recent about her over the last like 20 years.
Okay, but what? So her name is on a couple of papers. But what are the public documents on her? Like, where is she from? Where has she been? Like, where was she 20 years ago? Who was she working for?
At the time she was working for a university, not a university, but it's a university in Ustas. There's not a lot of. There's actually a remarkable lack of publicly available information that you can find. Like, you don't find personal details. You literally don't even find, like, so-and-so is a member of the staff at this university.
So she's been scrubbed.
She's been scrubbed.
Okay.
It looks like they missed a couple of things, probably PDF documents of research papers that she was assisting on.
PDFs.
Right. Probably, yes.
Fuck them.
Converted into images.
Oh God. Make me sick.
I'm just going to say whoever did that was sloppy.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to scrub 20 years worth of information.
And she's not, and it looks like she probably, I mean, you can't find birthdays or anything like that, but it's a long time ago, and her name is low enough down on the list of contributors, it was probably an intern.
I could totally see how a published research paper is hard to get away because other people would have downloaded it and kept it around and shared it. So it's like, that's probably the only little paper trail they have was the fact that she published these. I could see that.
I mean, I'm assuming that she probably actually published more and they scrubbed them.
Mm-hmm. Depending on where they are.
The stuff that she probably authored.
Exactly. Like everything,
gone.
If everything else is gone except these two things, like there were definitely more papers and there were other things, like I'm just saying, it's a little sloppy. And I'm glad for it because otherwise I wouldn't have any information.
Right.
And I wouldn't know, I mean I would know that she had been scrubbed, but I also know that she was probably scrubbed by like...
Probably scrubbed by Exodus. Oh, she doesn't work with Exodus. She's just
Could be.
Nope.
friendly to the cause.
So...
Well, anyway, so there's a station. There are 2 U.S. Navy frigates docked to it. It does have armaments on it. It looks like it's got like 4 more docking spars that stick out from the main part of the thing. It also has a couple going like galactic north and galactic south, or galactic up and galactic down, or whatever you want to call it. And there are small vessels of a type you've never seen before on top, and there's a lot of them. There's like 18 of them.
Wow.
This is no idyllic planet.
all the same vessel type?
Yes.
Or 18 types we've never seen?
No, all the same.
Okay.
All
This
the
is
same.
no idyllic planet that we can bury a body on.
And then, like as soon as you enter the system, in the amount of time it takes for the existence of your ship to reach their sensors, a message comes across saying, "Warning: you are entering restricted space. Restricted space. Unauthorized vessels will be fired upon."
Great.
Can we open a communication channel to this?
Yes, you may.
Great.
And we are here for Brianna Hutchinson.
And a voice comes through and says, "Repeat name, please."
Brianna Hutchinson.
Stand by. Stay at a null vector. Don't move.
I was like,
I don't see the null key.
but
It's British for zero.
it's not the X, Y, or Z vector.
And like a few minutes later, a woman's voice comes on. "This is Dr. Hutchinson."
Ah, yes, Dr. Hutchinson, I presume.
Very cool. Good job.
Thank you, nailed it. We were sent here to speak with you from our mutual friend, Mr. Wolf.
Ah, yes. Come to our dorsal docking port. Keep your airlock shut, please.
Can do. We will see you soon.
And then the whoever you were talking to before gets on and gives you the exact vectors they want you to move, and do not vary from these. Blah 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 blah.
Did you hear that?
It's not like I did it on purpose last time.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
I mean, not that anyone can prove anyway.
I'm gonna go get my vac suit on.
Dry your
No, I
feet
am.
off. So you
No,
don't
I
use
am.
the
What to
vac
say? Get your feet out of the waiting pool at the very least.
Yeah.
And give me like a piloting roll at your difficulty's 4.
Oh, okay.
She critical failed last time.
It's an 11.
Okay.
And I
All
rolled,
right.
I
Boom.
critically failed.
Right, that's
what I'm
I
saying.
rolled snake eyes.
Yeah.
Okay. So you attach.
Technically, I think I had a minor seizure.
So you attach, and then you can see like through the port in your airlock, because probably on the side or the top or somewhere. You got an airlock somewhere. Probably on the side.
There are airlocks. They exist.
Right. You can see that there's like a bunch of people. They're wearing uniforms. They have Ustas insignia on them, but you've never seen these uniforms.
Okay.
Maybe you too.
Scouts, Marines.
Well, I'm saying make a education roll.
Oh, that's my.
The three of you.
That's so great.
The TN is high.
Yeah, well, I don't make it.
Are there people in power armor?
And that was an 8, by the way.
Not that I can see.
They're wearing some.
4.
Can I roll tactics military?
It's not tactics.
Oh.
No. That's education because you were in the military. I'm like, there's a slight possibility that you may have. Your education's negative.
No, it's just
9
it's nothing. Oh, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh, wait,
11.
No, 9 or 10. Sorry.
10. Okay. All right. Yeah, none of you recognize them.
Okay.
They're wearing what kind of looks like vac suits, but they look like military grade vac suits. They don't look like the powered armor that the cap troopers were wearing on Dolan's Peak. They're not that big, but they do look like they're armor in addition to vac suits.
This looks like a higher tech level than we've seen before.
And they're lightweight and small.
Nice.
But they're coming. They're basically bringing equipment to the gangplank. I guess I don't know what the movie call it. Gangway, gangplank,
Gangway.
Gangplank is what you push people
Plank?
off of.
Plank? That's just the plank, isn't it?
Yes. I think you're right.
And then it would be like the flyaway thing that you, not actually flyaway. That's
I think
a
the
bus.
gangplank.
The ramp.
I think the gangplank is used for both walking people off of it and for getting onto land.
It's
the
like
same
something
plank.
about like umbilical something because
Yes.
it's space. It's
You're right. Yeah,
because it's not a plank.
that's
It's
true.
it's a
I don't know.
It could be
tube.
it could be. Yeah, probably. Yeah.
We'll
The-
call it a Janeway.
The gang. The gang umbilical.
okay. That sounds dirty. What's
Well,
the
that's
thing
like
that they attach
multiple
to
berths you'd
planes?
Yeah.
I don't know.
We have Google.
It's that thing. What? This will be helpful.
umbilical
the
is, I
thing
think,
that
right.
attaches to
Why don't we
planes.
continue with the story? Let's not let the facts get in the way of our good story.
For embarking.
Landing gear.
No.
All right.
Is chat being helpful at all?
I
It's
stole
a
the
Jetway.
It's a boarding bridge,
A boarding bridge.
or
Okay.
an aero bridge, jet bridge, or jetway.
So it's a space bridge.
Yes. Okay.
Hey.
Or it's a boarding bridge.
Okay. All right. So, and they're just stacking up boxes with equipment. And it takes them about 30 minutes to do all this. And then they start opening them up, and they've got all kinds of sensor stuff. And one of them moves up to their outer airlock.
Anybody else find it disconcerting that they were expecting us and know what we're doing?
Well, the wolf said that he might get a message out to them in time.
Okay.
Also, I mean, maybe this is where they're sending people because they send anyone who comes here who's authorized. If they have systems in place,
Okay.
If they wanted to kill us, we'd be dead a long time ago.
this also.
Plus, if you want to question the orders of the wolf, you're more than welcome to.
Why do you keep fucking with him? And then one of the people has a like a sergeant insignia on their collars, comes up and hits the button and says, "Are there any containment problems that we need to know about?"
Not at all.
currently.
I'm going to ask that you all come out. We're going to take you to the quarantine room, and then we're going to sweep the ship. Can you tell us the location?
The sick bay.
How many items are we getting?
There are 3 containment units and 1 low berth pod containing the remains of patient 0.
Very well. You may open the airlock. Boop, boop, boop. And then there's two of these soldier people lead you, and you don't go up to the main part of the ship. You like go a little bit, and then there's like a little, and it's a small room. It's like a 5x5 room, and they put you in there.
All of us?
Like the entire crew, or just the 4 of us?
That's not enough. There's probably 2 or 3.
Okay.
There's probably 2. Well, how many? We ever figure out how much what your crew
5,
is?
I think.
No, well, that's how many named PCs or NPCs we have.
So probably a total of 10, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably.
All right. So they've got a couple of these rooms.
I was like, everyone on the ship
Hey.
literally sardine canned into a 5x5 room.
And then.
Well, at least he gave us the option of getting the NPCs out, because I could just see it's like they get surprised, man. They start shooting them, and we're like,
Okay. So he puts you in these rooms, and if you have sensors on you, you know that you're being washed in electromagnetic radiation.
that's not well. Well, we'll let them figure that out.
I
we
do.
don't know anything.
And after, I don't know, probably 15 or 20 minutes, that you hear it, okay, you're all clear, you can exit, and the door opens up.
Straighten out my clothing, make myself presentable again. All right, shall we?
That was much more pleasant than my last quarantine.
And then there's someone there to escort you up to the main part of the station. It's a pretty big station. And they said, yeah, Dr. Hutchinson wants to speak with you immediately. Is there anything you need as far as documentation or anything from your ship?
No.
Okay. So,
Oh, are you destroying the ship? I have some things I need.
no.
Oh, all right. So then no, it's fine.
But just, like, she has some questions. If there's anything you need,
Right.
No.
Okay. So he leads you up and into an office, and she's there, and she's
Yeah. Character would documentation include the doctor?
the doctor's probably in the
Okay,
same
thank you.
decon that you were in.
Okay. Carry on.
They lead you up to like a sort of like a conference room. There's a lot of chairs, and let everyone sit down. They say, we need to talk to. She says she needs to talk to whoever the lead people are in this.
Okay. I'm going to scan the room with my, like I normally do.
Right. Make that roll.
Nine, 10, 11, 12.
The room is clean.
Great. That's a nice change.
That would definitely be us. We are the lead people on this.
Yes, we are.
And he leads you into a room, and you walk in, and she's sitting behind a desk, and she's looking at something on a computer terminal, and she looks like she's about late 50s, maybe. Tall, white hair, kind of curly, and she kind of looks at you and says, So, it's something.
Yeah.
It's actually nanotechnology.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, it is. I'm taking one apart right now.
Oh, you managed to get it disassembled.
Well, no idea of source, or do we know where this came from?
Not conclusively.
It's found in a guitar player.
No idea where he got it.
Nothing confirmed. We have a hypothesis, but haven't gotten a chance.
What's the hypothesis?
We believe that he was,
Deliberately infected.
yes, by an enemy based out of Terra.
Huh.
But how? Where it came from originally?
Well, see, the interesting thing about this one is there's a traditional nanobot, and that's Terran technology. But it's sort of acting like a shell around something else.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
Have you seen this something else before?
Yeah, we have. Yeah, we're calling it a quantum bot.
The doctor wasn't that far off.
So, somebody got a hold of ancient technology and surrounded and put a little Terran bot around that.
We don't
Is that
know
what you're saying?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. There's only one place we've found this.
Let
And
me
it's
guess.
really these are samples we don't like to get here because it's expensive to get rid of them.
These are the same nanobots from Name of Planet Around
Alpha.
Dead Star that I totally
Elder
don't
Star
know.
Alpha.
Thank you.
Well, it could be from somewhere else, but I doubt it.
But that's the only place we've ever seen them.
Powerful ancient technology.
Yes. Very powerful and impossible to destroy.
So then, how do you solve the issue?
Yep.
So you point it up.
I pointed up.
You put it in the ceiling?
No, we have small ships and we send them on a vector that will ensure that they don't get caught in any gravity wells in our galaxy.
You make them someone else's problem.
We make them someone else's problem. Now, we don't make them someone else's problem for billions of years, perhaps. And most assuredly, they will one day find their way back here.
Assuming that someone else whose problem it is don't, solve it in the meantime.
Yes. I mean, and that's what we're doing. But yeah, it's a real pain in the ass to get rid of this stuff.
Is there
And
any
he brought
idea?
me a lot of it.
Is there any idea what these things were created for? They seem to be very good at undoing things.
I think that's exactly what they were probably created for. I don't know. I mean, we don't know how old this stuff is. There's no way for us to date it.
What with the undoing of the things?
That and even the sort of quantum device itself, it doesn't possess anything that we can date.
Any serial numbers on the Terra nanobots that you can trace back to a manufacturer?
We've got people combing for that.
Good.
My guess is we're not going to find anything.
I don't think anyone smart enough to make this strange of a hybrid is going to be dumb enough to put their address on it.
Yeah. I mean, this isn't so much a hybrid as it is like a
I just,
poison pill.
Nanotech's so strictly regulated. I don't know if there's mandatory serial numbers that you have to put on them or not.
But if you're doing this illegally, you wouldn't put the serial numbers
Absolutely,
on it anyway.
there is. It's absolutely required.
If there are no serial numbers, then it's
And
illegal.
it's also illegal to
It's illegal anyway, though.
to enclose quantum bots inside nanobots,
Right.
and then inject them into people.
Yeah. All the things are legal.
So it's still plausible that somebody infected him because somebody on Terra created this thing and used it maliciously on him.
That is my working hypothesis.
I mean,
yes.
it seems more and more certain now. I mean,
It wasn't
otherwise,
accidental, yeah.
I ruled it accidental almost immediately.
though infecting him could have been accidental. His selection
I don't know.
without an actual.
Out of character. Were you here when we did the research about the
I don't think she
gala?
was. No, that was last session.
That was, yeah,
Okay.
she wasn't here that session.
All right.
So we've determined that Toshiro, I wrote it down.
Right.
On a different page, was basically the Bono of the group. He was like the main mouthpiece, and he had pissed off a ton of people basically everywhere. So there was a gala situation where we think he was infected with this, and there are a couple people there that would really like to see Toshiro go away. So my working hypothesis is that someone infected him at the gala event.
Okay. It just seems like a...
That was based on the fact that the doctor said the way they replicate it would have been around that time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it would have, based on their social media, it pinpointed them at that gala at that time frame. So it kind of, by cross-referencing everything, we kind of figured that's most likely when he was infected.
I guess just out of my background, it seems like a very specific way to kill someone. When there are so many less galaxy-destroying ways to kill someone.
Well,
And someone with that many enemies, like, I mean, if they were using this as a test run for the tech, or did they think they had a kill switch to prevent it from then infecting everyone that he ever came into contact with, and then
Maybe
everyone
they're-
on the port, and then everyone?
maybe that was their goal.
Could have been.
Maybe it was a competitor who didn't want the terraforming to take place, and the fastest way to make that happen was to destroy
Everything.
that entire station and everything on it.
And about the time when he died, it was about the time the concert should have gone on.
Yes,
So-
and the concert was planned out in advance, so maybe he wasn't the target. Maybe he was simply,
A carrier.
yeah.
We also talked about this as well, but now that we have Terran nanobots on there, it's possible that they underestimated. Maybe the Terra is supposed to have a kill switch and it fails. Maybe
Or we just got the bits and pieces far enough away that...
we even talked about disgruntled fathers or boyfriends that worked in a nanotech lab that got a hold of it and not knowing the full extent, the short-sightedness. They were just anger.
But this is a much more coordinated situation than
I would call this a
First
crime of
Blush.
passion. This is clearly plotted out.
Yes, this is definitely not passion. This is a rather impressive level of...
This is a dry run, and this is a
Yes.
dry run from someone who is not from Ustas.
How do you know that?
There's no way anyone in Ustas would release this in Ustas space. If you have the sophistication to make this, you know what it's going to do.
Sure.
And you can't contain this. I mean, you can contain the outer shell, and it looks like the outer shell constructs itself as the quantum bot is constructing itself. So it is sort of containing it, sort of. But
But as of yet, there's no sign that these were programmed in any way to slow down.
no. Well, I mean,
So-
we got a lot more research to do, but
But from what
They don't
we've
slow
seen-
down.
Exactly. So if the shell was supposed to in some way provide a level of control over the quantum bots, there was nothing that we've seen that signals that was successful.
It does bring up an interesting point. If you were to want to do this, it would make the most sense to shell it in something that is not known to be yours, to make sure the finger's pointed in the right direction. So it makes the most sense for this not to be UTOS, because it's shaped in a UTOS shell.
I mean, is it a Ustas shell or it's just a
Oh, it's a
Terran
Terran?
shell?
Oh, okay.
oh no, this is definitely Terran manufacture. It's good. This is good.
The really interesting thing is that the quantum bot did not take apart the Terran nanobot.
Well, no, we're still looking. It may be reconstructing itself as it is disassembled. The problem is if anyone would, because the easiest way to destroy nanotech is to throw it in a star. You do that with this, you're going to destroy the outer shell, which is what's protecting the universe from the inner part.
It's what we've been able to figure out so far. At least we knew that this particular variant feeds on the radiation.
Yes. Yeah, it looks like both the inner and outer shells are the inner and outer sections feed on electromagnetic radiation.
So throwing it into a star would be an all-you-can-eat buffet.
Yes, exactly.
Why is it that it can't get through the epidermis?
That's a. She actually doesn't know that yet. But
but I'm saying that to her.
She said that's probably part of the function of that outer shell.
She just I assume she knows everything about it.
Right.
No, obviously, you know this.
What's the name of the doctor that's with us?
Dr. Hutchinson.
No, the other one.
Oh,
Torres.
Torres.
Emil Torres.
Dr. Hutchinson.
This guy right here under this
Dr.
bus.
Hutchinson. Have you met Emil Torres? He spent the most time with these things. He probably has a great source of information for you and is a very gifted doctor. He might need a place to land. Not me. I'm off.
Mm-hmm. I'm hearing it.
Yeah.
It sounds like
You know what? I think it's mine. It's mine. Yeah, I'm turning my battery on and off.
No.
Oh, well,
Okay. They exchange niceties, and she asked him a few questions about the state of the body when it came in, and so they can kind of figure out. And by distance and everything, she also kind of figures out that yes, it probably, whatever it was, got introduced. It was probably a single nanobot that was introduced on Terra.
Well, that's good news for us. That means, that we weren't the ones to introduce it to Terra.
It's already there.
Yes.
Well, it's somewhere. I mean, and this thing is sort of containable for an amount of time. How long? I can't tell you.
But if a single nanobot was kept at sub-zero temperatures, there is a high likelihood that it could be kept for X number of X.
Well, even at sub-zero temperatures on the station, it kept replicating fairly slowly, but even a few hours.
It looks like it was doubling about every 2 weeks.
Oh, okay.
Unless you can get below absolute zero, but I don't think we don't have that in our.
That's not a temperature. That's not a thing. Absolute zero is the absence of all heat, all radiation. It's impossible to achieve, and these type of devices, the outer section itself is going to stop, but the inner part of it, the quantum, there is still quantum motion at absolute zero, or there would be if we could achieve it. So even at absolute zero, this thing is still going to replicate, probably very slowly, but it's still going to function.
I wonder if that's a way to track it down on Terra. Anybody that has an unbelievably complex system for keeping things unbelievably cold, colder than normal.
I mean, if we were able to, if they were going to report or get a permit for building such a thing, which they wouldn't do if they're keeping something illegal there.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying there might be a paper trail of some sort.
How exactly are these things contained on Elder Star Alpha?
They're not. Oh, you mean by us?
Not by us. I mean, in general. Why hasn't it spread to the rest of nearby solar systems?
It might be. It may just maybe moving too slow. It just it is likely in empty space between Elder Star Alpha and other systems. There may be these particles.
And they're just moving buffeted by solar winds. Or however things get
or whatever
around.
Whatever.
Because as it seems
speed
like
they have.
Yes, because they would be replicating based on the electromagnetic radiation in the solar system.
Well, they still require matter to replicate.
Oh.
They're powered by EM. But they require matter.
And the star at Elder Star Alpha is gone. Or are these things in the process of eating it?
No, the star, from the reports I've seen, is at this point a mass of these things.
Okay, because I was about to say, otherwise it'd be a black hole.
I don't think the star had sufficient mass to become a black hole.
Oh, okay.
have we thrown these into a black hole and seen what happens?
Well, if they replicate based on mass, that's kind of a terrifying thought, isn't it?
Is
That's a
hole-
lot of mass and a lot of radiation.
Isn't a black hole just a hole?
No.
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 I know that, but she doesn't. Riley doesn't know that. It's a black hole.
Why would they call it a hole if it's not a hole?
Exactly.
Good. Interesting.
Yeah, so,
What's another nightmare to join all the ones I have already?
yeah. Yeah, I mean, the Elder Star system, there are some protections in place that ameliorate the possibility of ships getting infected. But I will tell you that 2 ships have been infected and had to be scuttled. Because the particles, especially in the inner part of the system, are just out there.
Kind of a miracle that's only been 2 so far, if you believe in things like miracles and not blind chance.
So somebody put some of these things together. Somebody's gotten a hold of this these quantum bots, had it for enough time that they're able to construct a nanobot around it, know enough about it to contain it, are smart enough to understand what they're working with, at least up until the point where they release it into the wild. That can't be many people or governments out there.
State actor. Has to be. Only choice. It is inconceivable to me that it's not a state actor.
No, wasn't there one major superpower that wasn't involved in the...
Finger pointing?
Mm-hmm.
I think that was the Chinese.
Can I roll?
Can you roll
Science.
tactics now? Because that would be kind of perfect.
What? Contacts?
Tactics.
Oh, tactics. Tactics. Roll tactics. Actually, I wanted to know if I could roll science, my ancient archaeology, to know because I would probably know at least the names of the top people who research the ancient tech.
Okay, sure.
I don't know. Maybe I wouldn't, but nope. Never mind.
That's
That's
a
a
nice
4.
4.
It's a 4.
Well, at least it's not a 2. But yes, the list of... But even amongst state actors, none of you are known to each other? None of you were known to each other?
Oh, I mean, we were, sure. I mean, and we still are to an extent. I mean, obviously not this station.
To the extent that you don't really exist anymore and can't talk to anyone.
Well, I mean, nanotech, and you guys would know this, nanotech still exists. It's used in medical stuff, but
No,
it's
I meant
severe.
her specifically.
Right,
Like,
no.
the people who, they've probably all gone underground and been, wiped like she is.
Yes.
So it's not like they're pen pals anymore.
No. No, we're kept pretty isolated out here, too. For very good reason.
Yes.
Yeah.
The question is how to find out.
Who had something to gain? It seemed, we were thinking about there's a company or something that might have reason, selfish
Yes.
reason. But what state would have interest in stopping the terraforming or taking out that station?
Who else was interested in the planet?
You mean Elder Star? Alpha?
No.
No,
No.
In Crystal
Caliban.
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 Caliban is very far from other superpower space. I mean, it's sort of out on its own. You guys know
So
this.
this is, we are looking at something closer to just a dry run situation in what would be a contained, quote-unquote contained environment, being at the edges of known space, deep into Ustos territory.
Has this ancient tech been tested on a planet that's not carbon-based before?
I don't think it would matter.
All right.
I mean, it ate us it ate a star.
Right, but I'm wondering if maybe that was what they wanted to see, what would happen if that was the experiments.
I think most likely they wanted to see how effective their weapon was, how fast it spread.
I think they were trying to test their containment.
And that was number 3, whether it could be contained
By
What?
his skin? That's
by
what
the
this-
by the Terran nanobot shell.
Oh, that makes more sense.
And why would you pick such a high-profile target?
Well,
Because it's not like it's not going to get unseen. I mean, you could have picked a homeless person that nobody would notice was gone, but he picked one of the highest, most famous people
why not
in the
kill two
galaxy.
birds with one stone?
Yes, but it seems short-sighted to make it such a public spectacle.
Well,
Unless
it's not
you
a public
wanted
spectacle.
people to
As
know.
we already saw, the entire incident was covered up.
Still, wouldn't it be more prudent to do it on a nameless homeless person that no one cares about, rather
Except-
than one of the most high-profile? I mean, unless this maybe is an act of terrorism.
But they don't want. I mean, it was his itinerary was already known, and if they had picked the location, it was a given that he was traveling there.
Yeah.
So that whole section of the experiment was controlled for.
Yeah, there's no way, like, they'd have no way if they just put this in a random person of knowing if they changed their mind or not. And the millions of dollars waiting for this guy probably would guarantee, plus the contract, because we saw the contract.
It just seems odd that you would infect millions of people at a concert in hopes of containing it.
No, they're testing the weapon.
Yes.
They're testing the containment system and their control of it, not that they can contain it in one person. They wanted it to spread.
That's why I'm thinking it's an act of terrorism and not just a test.
It's also possible that they anticipated that it would get out.
That's
I mean,
Yes.
if a weapon of mass destruction that no one knows about, what kind of deterrent is that?
It's not a very good one if it can just be kept in a pod.
No, the word would get out, not the thing itself, but the word would get out that they had it, and a high-profile target would help them with that objective, which is power consolidation.
I understand that, but I'm pretty well versed in things that kill people, and if something can be contained in a regular pod, not even like the first-rate pod, it's not a very good weapon.
Contained, but not forever.
Right, but
Well,
I think they're going to see that that's a design flaw, and I think we're going to see an upgrade, which is very terrifying.
It's also only been contained because of
Or quick action.
and we're still ahead of the news. It's still 4 weeks out before anybody would know. Somewhere,
3 weeks
somebody's
now.
busy writing a press release about how they're going to hold the universe hostage without money, possibly, if this was in fact intentional that they wanted it to get out. We're ahead of it, but it's coming down the pike.
Unless they were... do you think perhaps they're nearby Caliban?
He was infected on Terra and took it to Caliban, right?
Yes. But if Caliban was where... I've tested weapons before.
you want to be able to.
You see it. You
You want
watch
to
it.
be able to see what happens.
Right, you stay just outside the blast zone. Nearby. You're not going to wait
Stay
for
on Terra and wait for word to come from Caliban.
Right, so it's possible that the person who did this had at least someone sitting there right outside of Caliban.
And each one of those, if he collapsed on stage in Caliban in mid-concert and turned into gray goo, each one of those little nanobots would infect the millions of people that were watching the concert. Each one of those people would leave
But
the
when he
concert.
died-
And in 3 or 4 months later, they then would be...
Well, he was immediately quarantined. The ship was quarantined. They would have quarantined any off-world.
But they would have been in concert had we not stopped it.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. They
Yeah.
would have quarantined the station. People wouldn't have been able to just leave and go. It would have been the exact same outcome in terms of quarantine and containing an outbreak.
And they'd see exactly the time it would take to spread from the one person to the rest of the planet.
I mean, everyone would be dead, but
Yes. But except for the people who are probably on a ship not very far away watching everything.
So, somewhere there's a political player has something to gain from infecting the universe with an unstoppable nanobot.
Well, not necessarily infecting the universe, but someone who wants people to know that they could.
It's a pretty good weapon.
But yeah.
And this is just a laughable term, safe configuration.
Right.
This could be weaponized.
much worse.
Oh,
I mean, technically, it could be weaponized much worse just by taking off the
oh
containment.
yes, absolutely.
I mean, that's you die, I die, we all die.
Now, it was Ustos space. Is there any way? I mean, Doctor, I don't know if you would know, but is there any way for us to get a record of any ships that were in Caliban space at the time?
That were nearby. I mean, we're due in Ustos space, so any foreign vessels would have.
Any vessels, because they probably wouldn't be dumb enough. When I've blown stuff up, I don't necessarily wear my own colors, you know?
Well, I mean, you guys, I think I mentioned there are several orbital stations, and there were a lot of ships coming in specifically because there was going to be a concert.
Right.
There was a lot of
cover.
Yeah.
I mean, it would take months to sort through all of that. That's not the best use of our time. We need more information.
Well, I mean, if you're thinking that the person who did this was going to be close by, or at least that people who they trust close by, I still think one of our strongest suspects is
Pena?
Pena. He is an associate, and I think a member of the board of ZNT. ZNT, which owns Caliban.
But why would they try and destroy their own place?
Well, they were really banking on succeeding in this endeavor. Maybe there was some kind of clause that saved them from going bankrupt. Something happened outside of their control.
This could be the equivalent of lighting your house on fire
Exactly.
from the insurance company.
Oh, kind of like she looks. Never
Do you know of Pena?
Arthur Pena?
I've heard the name, but I've been out of the loop for a long time.
He was our prime suspect in the infection because of his both ties to ZNT and antipathy for Toshiro.
And the fact that he's the owner or CEO of Eurobotics.
And we actually have a newsreel of him.
That's
meeting,
a legitimate nanotech company.
and we actually have a video of him meeting and greeting
With
Shiro.
If he was going to burn down his house, wouldn't he not use his own matches, though? Doesn't that seem like a bit like if he's going to claim the insurance money? Oops, my house got burned down by my things.
Well, I
Again,
mean, no one is.
if you have a weapon that you're trying to test, and you have a company that is most certainly going to fail, again, two birds, one stone.
Right, but
But there's nothing saying that ZNT was actually going to fail.
and he'd definitely get the blame. Like, there's no way to avoid that. Perhaps he's being set up by someone, is what I'm saying. It seems like a very convenient match, those two things. I mean, perhaps.
that would,
But-
if he was involved in this and that would get out, that would ruin Eurobotics.
And they're for sure going to be one of the first suspects.
But we're also at a time when all four of the five major powers are being accused of nanotech fraudulence.
Treaty violation.
Thank you, treaty violations.
Well,
so
we need
there's
more,
plenty
but
of
like
suspects.
I said, we need more information. We're working with a tiny fraction of the picture, and we can spin all the theories in the world, but without more information, moving forward is.
Well, I say we wait here for a bit and see what the doctor can find any more information.
Well, we're waiting here anyway.
because the wolf said not to move.
They're not going to let
and
us
then
go.
perhaps we can convince them to keep the good doctor here.
It could be useful.
It's
to
not a
them.
bad life,
It's not a good
as
life.
far as I know.
Safer here than any place
Oh,
else.
I'm not
off
disagreeing
the
with
grid.
you. I don't know. My gut is telling me Pena is involved somehow.
It's possible.
Maybe he's a patsy, maybe he's being framed, maybe he's the mastermind, but I believe that there's some connection to Pena in this whole situation.
Possibly. I'm just saying that, we won't know whether he's a fall guy or part of it without more information. All we have right now is the fact that he interacted with the victim at a gala, which is tenuous at best.
Interacted with the victim at a gala, the victim who is an antagonist of his.
How many people did Toshiro interact with at that gala?
I have a guest list. I don't know how many he directly interacted with, although we could check. We did check the social media and found all the pictures we could of him interacting with people. So we were able to.
And we eventually got a full guest list
Yes.
from the PR guy.
Yeah, from Mr. Ryder.
Yeah.
So how many people was that?
Oh, how many people was that?
Oh,
He probably interacted with more than 100 people.
Is there any way that we could the ships register from Caliban. Maybe we could see if any of those people were also at the gala, or if or anyone from the gala owned any of the ships that were in the system.
It's possible.
Yeah.
I mean, that might narrow down our list a wee bit. It's not a perfect
No, but at
supposition,
least it's steps moving forward.
something for us to do while we sit here.
Perhaps Dawn of Ascus could supply that information to us. She's at least on Caliban. Can get the information for us at least.
I don't think they're going to let us make any calls.
Well,
No.
when we eventually leave the station,
I'm just saying that we could search. I mean, are we connected to the outside world? Not in terms of communication externally, but in terms of incoming.
The Ustas military might be able to
We pick
provide
up-
us.
We pick up some transmissions, and occasionally they will update our whatever space internet.
Space. The spinet.
But we are, as you can probably guess, intentionally very isolated.
Yes.
With the lethality of this nanobot, I wonder if there's anybody else at the gala who got sick that we don't know about yet.
I mean, at this point, anyone else who died, because they'd be dead. We're weeks out now from Toshiro dying. If anyone else at the gala was infected, they'd be dead.
Although word may not necessarily be reaching Terra until
right? We'd have to hope they died on Terra.
Because they would have died, well,
that would be bad.
Yeah, that
Well,
would
yes, but I mean,
Let us not hope that
but I mean,
everyone
as
in
far
Terra
as
is
like
about to die.
confirmation.
Yes.
But we
'Cause-
would have heard if any of the important. By the time we reached Terra, if anyone of the attendees at the gala had passed, that word would have already been spread.
Right, because depending on when they got it, they would have died around the same time.
Yeah, and that was 4 weeks out from when we came back. 2 weeks.
Yes. And
Like-
unless someone didn't want there to be a public panic.
right.
But even then, like,
But yeah, they would have
they wouldn't have.
disappeared. They would have fallen off the
yeah,
radar.
exactly. Like,
Maybe it's
like if a
another thing to check.
Or-
high profile person just disappears suddenly.
Or goes on vacation, quote unquote.
Could have been a waiter.
They're
for all
in
we
a
know.
sabbatical. They're in rehab.
This nanotech had to get into him somehow, and it had to be him and only him. So it's in a glass or something. They didn't put it throughout the whole party.
Did we ever confirm how Z&T knew to scan for nanotechnology?
Yeah, how
They didn't. The doctor.
the doctor?
The
found.
doctor when the doctor was starting to do an autopsy, and had, oh look, gray goo.
Right. So then he told, because Z&T was the one doing the scan and get them in quarantine. Right?
He was brought in to the infirmary for
Right.
treatment.
But what I mean is, because when we went to their ship initially, it was under quarantine.
Yes, that's the doctor is the one that initiated
Okay.
that.
And so
Yeah.
he would have informed the people who were doing the search or the scan on their ship.
Yeah, they were
Okay.
looking for everything.
Just making sure. Because that was fishy there for a second.
So, I'm trying to find another path here that maybe we can follow. Because however he was infected, there's a chance that the person that infected him could have it as well. Now, and I'm trying to figure out how he could get infected. It had to be specifically targeted to him. It's not an aerosol. It's not a...
Doctor, how do you infect someone with a nanobot?
Injection is the most common way to do so. It would have to be a fairly elaborate injecting mechanism for this because of the difficulty to contain it.
Which,
So-
again, brings back to Pena. He knows how to do it.
So if one of these things was just in like a glass of champagne or something, and you drank it,
Sure. Yes, that would work.
Oh.
I mean, they normally wouldn't do that with regular nanobots because the digestive acids might interfere with its replication processes. You
And
generally,
would they do it with this one because it would have multiplied exponentially in the glass?
No, not that fast.
Oh, okay.
I mean, if you poured a glass and dropped it in and handed it to him and he drank it, you might not know it. I don't know how fast it goes, but
at ordinary temperatures, the thing looks like it replicates about once every day.
okay.
The higher the temperature, at body temperatures, it's probably once every 6 hours, 5 to 6 hours. I would imagine that's probably a result of the Terran nano shell. It's probably slowing it down.
Oh, okay.
Because it's using some of the EM radiation that would have been getting to the quantum bot.
So let's play a logic game. If somebody at the party poisoned him, they would have to do it pretty quick and get the glass to him pretty quick and make sure only he got the glass. They couldn't just put it on a tray and have everybody try it. It would have to be specifically handed to him. Or some other way to give it to him, put it on a cigarette. But he was a non-smoker. He was a health...
He also didn't drink.
He also didn't drink. So that does narrow it down. So it can't be somebody that they put on a drink, perhaps a health bar.
Well,
perhaps
or water.
we've established that the most likely way that this would have been infected him is through injection.
Did we?
Yes.
I mean,
That's what she just said.
Well, that's one way. I don't know if it's the most likely.
It's the most reliable way of delivering a nano. I mean, that's what we use for medicine.
I mean, I don't know if we're actually going to narrow it down without maybe finding a picture of what happens. But there's many ways he could have gotten it at the party.
Well, we'd have to find out then if he complained of any pains or went to the doctor, because it seems like...
But if you're going to do this, if
I
you're going to
know, I
poison
know.
somebody and have them be your patient zero for your test, you're going to want the best possible results, which means you're going to do the best possible thing to get the nanobot into them, which leads to injection.
But you also want them not to know that they've been injected.
Right, which is
So it
quite
needs to be
possible if you're an
painless.
expert in injecting nanobots, which brings me back to your robotics.
I think it was much more subtle than that, because I think if somebody got zapped, they'd go, ow, what's that? Oh, no, something bit me. I need to go to the doctor.
I don't think it matters.
Well,
Like, it's not...
it's two routes to follow. Either if it was somebody
Both
with an
routes,
injection...
both routes lead to getting all of the footage that we can from the gala.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, either way, it seems likely you're right about the gala. I don't know...
And that's because the timeline matches up.
The only other thing I was thinking towards is if he did have a drug habit, if somebody had slipped it into his heroin.
But he didn't.
Something. But he didn't, as far as we know.
Well, you confirmed it. The other two guitarists confirmed it. Ryder confirmed it. I think that's a pretty safe assumption. He didn't
Wasn't
have
taking vitamin injections or anything.
I mean, again, I think there are a myriad of options, and I don't know if that's necessarily the thing to spend our time on, unless we're sure it will be... Like, if
I
there
mean,
was...
it feels like if it's like, oh, well, we need to now examine all these other options of how he could have been infected, then all the work that you did when you were on Caliban, the timeline, narrowing it down to the gala, you're just throwing all of that away. You're saying, well, the timeline doesn't matter now that we know about the nanobots or the quantum bots. And that's not true. The timeline still holds as true.
Right.
So then he was infected at the gala.
Yes.
Which means that our suspect was someone at the gala.
Which means we don't have to worry about, was he taking vitamin injections? Was he, none of that matters. What matters is that he didn't drink, and that he didn't do drugs, and that in the most likely way to infect someone with nanobots is to inject them. Whether or not that is like a pinprick kind of thing, we're assuming, the way that you're making it sound is that, oh my god, I've got this giant needle and I'm going to stab it into your arm. That's not the case. You could prick someone with a tiny needle and
far
you
beyond
would
that.
barely notice.
It's the 21st century.
Oh, I'm no expert in nanobot injection. I don't know.
Well, why don't we start with seeing if we can get a list of... Would our ship have registered other ships? Like when they bounce off each other, when they're all in the station, would our ship have a record of other nearby ships?
Ones that you've run into?
Not literally running into.
Not really, no.
Yeah, oh, okay.
Unless you specifically choose to do that, because you can. I mean, there's transponders and stuff. But you're probably not recording that information.
Yeah, okay.
Because that would be a massive amount of information for us to have, just stored on the ship's
Yeah, like when
computers.
we...
But
Yeah.
I mean, they do have connection with the outside world, however,
Yeah.
tenuous.
I don't know if they would be able to record. Yeah.
If we see if we can scan to get what records that Caliban has about what ships visited, VIP ships, let's start with that, or ships owned by VIPs, and see if specifically, looking at the Eurobotics connection, if there were ships from Eurobotics, or that had a connection to Pena or a connection to Eurobotics, and see if they were in the system.
Cross-reference people who had reservations for the concert.
And see if we have any, if we can see if there was anyone from the gala who was also going to the concert. Or you know.
I don't think, the person who infected him isn't going to go
To the concert itself. True. But,
if they own any of the ships in the system, though.
yeah.
But
We can make those inquiries, but
Okay.
you're talking.
8
we won't
weeks?
have for them to get the request, and then another 8 weeks. So 4 months.
It's too
But
long.
we can make those inquiries.
No.
well, we're not allowed to leave here
Until the wolf lets us go.
and the Ustas Navy, or whoever you are. I don't even know if you're Navy.
I can't say.
Right, of course. Yes, the Ustas Stas.
Who's Stasi?
Stasi.
Well, I mean, the military uniforms you saw had the Ustas flag on one shoulder. So.
I know they're Ustas. I just
Yeah.
don't know what branch they are because they're not
Right.
a branch. I know. Aren't going to let us go.
Well, the wolf said we could trust them. I trust them.
No, I trust them too,
No.
but there's just
No. The wolf said we could trust her.
That's true. But it just still limits the amount of sleuthing that we can do.
I agree. But at least we have a plan, so when we do get let go, we aren't just going to wander aimlessly. We know exactly where we're going to head next.
Riley looks very skeptically at his very what I can't think of words. Happy. What's like
Optimistic.
Optimistic. Thank you. That's the word. I'm like optimal, not optimal. Optimistic outlook of us actually ever being let go.
It's also possible in 3 weeks when all this shit shakes loose, we might be able to glean more. Because whoever these actors are still... Clearly they must know that we took the body, so there might be actions against to find it. It's a waiting game on our part. There's only so much we can do until other pieces on the board get moved.
Doctor, outside of the obvious, which is disposal of the quantum thoughts, how long will it take you to run your tests and figure out what's going on here with these things?
Oh, well, we've been studying this stuff for quite some time. I mean...
But you said yourself you had to see the Terran shell before.
No, but I mean, to be able to take that apart and figure out its function on something of that scale is routine.
And then Creator? Any information on that would be obviously helpful. How long would that take?
That could be more difficult because in something like this, it's very unlikely that the telltale signs we would look for to try to figure out which shop built it are probably concealed, and maybe even counterfeited. I mean, there are idiosyncrasies involved in every method of nanotechnology creation, and those idiosyncrasies show up and they create sort of like a signature. But those you can generate those idiosyncrasies
Purposefully.
Yes.
Now, what do you know about the Exodus Nanotech Task Force?
I don't know what you're talking about. I think, like, sincerely, she doesn't know what you're talking about. 'Cause
There is an Exodus Nanotech Task Force now.
that's probably a good idea.
I would say so. It is obvious that this has made it a good idea.
Yes.
Now the question is, so you are obviously sympathetic to our cause. and to our boss. Sis boss.
Yes. I know Winston from childhood.
Oh, good. Then he... I know.
Benny was only a pup.
A mere cub. Obviously, this is a, to borrow antiquated terms, a clear and present danger to both Ustas and
Everything.
Well, what's here, we can dispose of in the same manner we've disposed of everything, and we eventually
yes,
will.
but that's what's here,
Yes.
and it came from somewhere.
Yes. I do have some latitude when it comes to that. That's why I can make the inquiries that you asked me to make, and I have full authority to do that.
Okay, great. And then you also have, say, latitude to contact our mutual friend to possibly get some inquiry started on Terra.
Army of 12 friends. I gotta jog my memory.
The wolf.
The pup.
Oh, yes.
It's just talking to Stu, not to
Yeah.
to the doctor.
Right.
I was like, yeah, that's the person we were just talking about.
Right.
So, and that would be a lot faster.
Yes. And I also have field investigative resources as well that
Oh, fantastic.
that are very effective.
Well,
It looks like our job here is done. Time for a vacation, crew.
in a way, I mean, it is very important that we get started on finding facilities that would be able to both make and contain this kind of thing. And then Winston, or the wolf, would be, I'm sure, very amenable to helping find out who.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
So if your team works on the what, and our team works on the who, then it's just a matter of getting word to both of those things.
Yes.
Has anyone experimented with other alien tech with the nanobots? Because obviously they're connected in some way.
No. Most of our work here is to try to come up with some sort of counter device
Right, but I mean,
or kill switch.
at some point, they had to have some bit of control over them.
Oh, I'm sure they did.
I mean, wouldn't it?
Well, who knows? They're not here anymore.
Right, but at some point they had to have something maybe we could build off of.
We
Or it
simply
could
know.
have been what killed them all.
That's, well, it maybe. But I mean, it's better. Some lead is better than no leads. It just seems like a obvious avenue of inquiry
And
to me.
who would have a bit of ancient technology laying around that we could experiment with?
Well, I mean, she seems to have lots of connections to science people.
Oh, we don't keep that sort of thing here because of what we do. It would endanger anything that rare.
Oh,
Wait. So you're saying that the ancient tech can affect the nanotechs, or are you just trying to?
I have no idea.
Oh, okay.
No, we're here trying to figure out
All right.
some sort of countermeasure.
I understand.
like a remote control.
Or a kill switch. Or an anti-quantum bot that hunts quantum bots and nothing else.
As opposed to
That seems,
the nano quantum bot.
yeah.
Yes.
Even more insidious than the quantum bot itself.
Right.
Has little evil mustaches on each one.
It's cackling maniacally. Just on a frequency none of us can hear.
The Snidely nanobot.
Exactly. I want that to be a thing now. Okay.
Someone make this happen.
Remember my adventure in
Yeah.
the longest amount of
Oh, yeah.
space? What was it called? Object Mwahaha?
Yeah.
All these creatures walking around with.
They looked like
mustaches and
Snidely
hats.
Whiplash.
Yeah.
They had little- They were like semi-sentient.
So, well, if you're willing to do that, and then we're willing to disavow all knowledge of everything.
Oh, yeah, that was part of the assumption, I assume.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But the good doctor, the other doctor, he's a very good person and gave up just about everything to save the station. So maybe they could work with you.
He's here.
He's in the
No,
room with
that's why,
us.
that's why I pointed to him. Sorry.
Because you were like the good doctor, other doctor, and I was like, are you talking about Two Crows?
No, it's when you have more than one doctor in the room, making it
Don't give up
confusing.
Two Crows.
No.
No, he's our lifeline.
If it doesn't poop, he doesn't know about it. No, it's the joke from from Scrubs. There's like doctor.
Right.
Yeah, that's funny. It's funnier when I explain it.
Yep.
It is funnier when you explain it.
Actually, it might be true, that one.
Well, I could talk to our station manager and see if there's a position in the infirmary or something. But
Yeah.
At least for the time being. I mean, I think he's kind of bored hanging around with just our doctor and us.
Also avoiding, felonies.
I've got that under control, more or less.
Well,
Maybe.
more is better than less.
Really, I don't think he wants to spend any more time around us than he has to.
Yeah.
I mean, we could
Do
probably
you,
find.
Emil?
We could probably find something,
All right.
some position here.
And does that work for you, Dr. Torres?
Doctor.
Better than prison.
Yes, many things are. But it's not the red. I am legitimately trying to make your life better for the moment.
At least for now.
I can't make any promises for the future. None of us know what the future holds. If I learned anything in my line of work, it is that circumstances can change on a dime.
Yes.
Here's a poor attempt at your evil nanobot.
Yes! It's like a spider with
It's like a spider
It's
type
us.
bot.
It's a spider with a mustache and a like a
top hat.
Russian,
There you go.
Amazing.
like in a top hat.
can't-
It's just a
Yeah.
white piece of paper.
Yeah, no.
Oh, well,
you have to use
so
the
sorry.
Sharpies.
Use your imagination.
Yes. It's terrible because my
it's-
talents are in the performing arts, not in the visual arts.
Yeah.
I wish I could draw.
All
Me
right.
too.
So, all right, we're gonna go. Can we go back to our room or our ship or something?
Sure.
Okay.
Great.
Are they gonna let us back on our ship now? Or
The
no?
ship, the ship's cleared. They've got a docking clamps on it, so
No,
you
yeah,
can't
we
leave.
can't
right
go.
now,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
But like we can go back and like sweep and
Yes,
like,
absolutely.
you
Yeah.
know, not hang out with you people.
Sure.
I got a
It's
batch of brew here. It worked out great.
honestly, it's probably best that you stay on your ship.
Oh, all right.
There are people here who
Yes,
Would like to know what we're doing here.
are kind of sticklers about
everything.
certain treaties.
Oh, those little
Pesky
chestnuts.
details.
Right. Well, good news.
Well, it's not like we're not used to being alone.
So how long are we on the ship for until the wolf contacts us?
Or Wolf contacts anyone, or we get any other
Winston
information.
said he would contact me. He wants me to send a report.
Okay.
Once I've sent him the report, I'm assuming that the Foundation is going to determine what your next move should be, and then they will contact us, and I will relay that to you, of course.
Great.
Please refrain from any electromagnetic transmissions, etc., etc.
Out of character. While I was gone, did you guys get anything done with the doctor?
He's gonna stay on.
He's got a
yeah.
job.
He's got a job for the moment.
Thank you. Perfect.
Which again is another file of. I get to delete
Right.
his defense.
No, not yet.
Not yet. Thank God.
I mean, this is literally just a temporary setup to like keep him from going crazy
Yeah.
and turning on us. That he might actually feel like he's like
We actually-
secure in some way.
Exodus may actually use him though, and I can't imagine
Oh, we've already used him.
hiding hiding him out in a secret base is probably the best place I can think of to hide it. But anyway,
But I'm
that's-
just saying that
it
like,
might just be
like
you
at
know,
least at the moment, I'm like just trying to diffuse some of that.
Yeah, that's fair.
And in the meantime, you know, we can do whatever it is we do until we hear back from the report
Right. From the wolf.
from the wolf.
The wolf.
Can I go?
That's never good.
Oh.
This would be the news reports hitting the airwaves.
No,
like
I think this is like the quantum bots got away.
Oh, it's very loud.
Yeah, this is paining me.
Yeah.
All hell breaks loose.
Oh, good.
The lights dim.
Is it
Red
like
lights are flashing.
just as we get back to the ship, or is this like hours
This is like
later?
as you're leaving.
The office.
You're leaving her office.
Oh, thank God.
And then, like, almost immediately, you hear over an intercom. She says, "All of the nano shells have opened up."
Ah!
No, that can't be good.
And then there's klaxons going off everywhere. There's people running around, and she has a very panicked look on her face. And that's a good place to end it, right?
Oh, God!
Terrible place to end it.
How dare you!
And we're like 10 levels away from our ship, right?
And literally, like, well, no, we want to be 10 levels away from our ship, right?
No.
Or have they gotten all the stuff off our ship yet?
All that
Remember
stuff's
they
off
said it
your
was
ship.
cleared?
okay.
They said you're
Okay.
cleared.
Oh, there's so many things. Well, I mean, even if we were at our ship, I'm not sure we'd want to leave. I mean, because then we would survive, but then there's this giant chunk of like nanobots floating.
Yeah, but us surviving is better than us becoming a part of the giant chunk of nanobots.
Well, like, the thing about it, though, is we're only, what, 1 parsec away from...
Not even a parsec away.
We are
from
half a parsec away
from
from
Terra.
Terra.
probably right around 2 light years.
And it's
We
off
are
our ship.
really fucking close to Earth.
And it's off our ship, and so we can get our ship and go anywhere.
And just
I
leave
don't know.
it
I
to
don't know.
destroy Terra.
I'm not going to sit around and hang around here.
I'm not from Terra.
What's Terra ever done for us? I happen to be one of the morons that lives there.
I guess we'll find out when we come back
I
in
guess.
May.
In 8 weeks.
June.
Damn.
Oh, June.
June.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you guys aren't at the con on Sunday, we can play on that Sunday.
Oh, I'm out. I'm out of town
unless
on Sunday.
We'll see.
That's right
we
around
can talk
Allie's
about
birthday.
this
Yeah.
later. All right. So
We'll be back.
Yeah, we'll be back.
Yes.
Check out happyjacks.org/schedule, and as soon as we have a date, we will put it on that. It may be June. In the meantime, we're actually going to have, because a bunch of us are working fair, which is why, if you don't know, we work
Renaissance Pleasure for renfair.com/SoCal.
Yeah, so that's what a lot of us, not me anymore, spend our weekends doing. I will be in air conditioning.
We're almost to the point where we're going to have air conditioning. I got a lot of solar panels now.
Yeah.
We're getting close.
He's full of lies.
So-
We're glamping. We're going to glamp at the Ren Fair.
Though
Anyway.
in the meantime,
Yeah.
as I don't work at Fair,
Yep.
I will still be here with y'all with
Every
a
Sunday.
bunch of new faces every Sunday playing
Demigods.
Demigods
Yes.
with
Jason.
some really fucking great people.
Yeah. Jason is running his new version of Demigods. If you watched our fair game last year, he's now on like version 50.0 of Demigods. So
Is he ready to kickstart this?
yes, he's actually going to kickstart it like later this year, very very soon.
Oh, good.
So this is going to kind of like be his big final like ta-da, like before the Kickstarter starts. And Pooja's going to be in that, and Abria, and Jay, and Rob. It's going to be amazing.
Nice.
It's a fun
Cool.
system.
That's
It's a fun game.
Yeah.
It's
And
gonna
just
be
like from the little bit that we've set up so far, you do not want to miss this. It's
Yeah.
going to be so much fun.
It's going to be
What book did you
nuts.
pick?
Secret.
Spoilers. All right.
I thought it was a teaser as opposed to a spoiler.
And that's the Sunday game?
And that's going to be the Sunday
Okay.
game, yeah. So
Awesome.
it'll be this time slot, Sundays, 4 to 8. It's starting in 2 weeks. So we're going to have 2 weeks. So we're going to have the next 2 Sundays. We might have one-shots or something going, but then we're starting right after that. So it should be super fun.
Excellent.
So thank you
We
guys.
could maybe do 10 candles before first.
Yeah, you can do that. That'd be fun. All right. Thank you guys.
Thank you
We
very
will
much.
talk to you later.
Ooh, maybe an Exodus based
Goodbye.
10 candles.
Yes.
Muting.
The preceding program has been a presentation of the Angry Folk Media Empire.